All right. Hello. We're early today. How you like that? I was going to go on 30 minutes ago, actually, but it didn't work out, which is fine. How many people we got in here? Let's check it out. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. What's up, Tess? What's up, Christian? I already saw you in there. We're going to go on a couple minutes before Meghan Remedy comes on, guys. And when she gets on, she's just going to pop right into the chat. And then we'll shift views and we will get into... Oh, and she's here. She's early. What a pro.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
No.
No? Okay, that might be me then. How about now? Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can? I can't hear you.
Let me see.
This is my first time using this, so I'm not sure. Settings. I clicked headphone. Let's see. Hello?
Yes. She's working
I still
good.
can't hear you.
Oh, 1 second. Can you hear me now?
No.
We're doing some live testing here, guys. Let's see here. Does that work? Does that work? Huh. Well, everything seems to be going on my end. Give me 1 second, guys. We're going to go dark mode here, and I will sort these settings out with Meghan. Give me a second. I didn't have you on the screen quite yet, but we should be good to go now. Okay. Turn off the broadcast. We should be back. Okay. Clean. Can you guys see me now? We back online? I'm going to bring Meghan on in 1 second. As soon as I'm pretty certain that you guys can see me again. The public view is good. All right, we're good. All right, I'm bringing Meghan on. Without further ado. Beautiful. All right. Here we go. We got some hip hop music in the background.
I'm trying to pull up the chat and mute it. So it's the ad before your...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know you don't run Google ad block, you know, like the other bad people who watch YouTube for free. I don't do that or anything as a content creator.
Yeah, people are entitled to their revenue here.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got people in the chat. I have no idea how many. It looks like about 50. So
anyone moderating?
There's no moderators here. I'm going to make all the trolls the actual moderators in my chat. That way we just have a fair fight, and that's just how it works around here.
Gassy Gregor should moderate.
I love oh no, Kate's not here right now, Gassy Gregor. It's too early in the morning for her. It's like 7 a.m. She's still sleeping, I'm sure. Okay. Cool. All right, so this is my first time. We got Jonathan, we got Charles. All right, cool. All right, great. We got a couple mods, heavy hitters. So guys, this is my first time actually meeting Meghan. Thanks for coming on the show, Meghan.
Thank you for having me.
I made sure to brush up on some of your content as much as I could this morning. Obviously, you've shared your story quite a few times with some different YouTube personalities, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I know that you are a holistic nutritionist. I wrote a little description about you. And ex-vegan as well, which is cool because you have the science mind and the practical experience being somebody who's helped people in the clinical setting. And also you are coming from an ex-vegan background. We don't have many of those people. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. And people are already loving you. It was very difficult to get a YouTube approved thumbnail from your Instagram, by the way, Meghan.
Really?
But it's all good. It's all good. Nobody's complaining. Bad. It was just, it was a fun time. All right. I can see why, Bart K is smitten. He every chance he gets to talk about you, he's in love.
Yeah.
So what should we talk about today? I was going to write some things down, but I think we're going to I know kind of the direction I want to go, but I figured I'd open it up to you and see if there's some stuff that's been on your mind lately. How fast YouTube nutrition stuff changes. We're obviously kind of on the same team here, so it's not really going to be a debate of any sort. And I figure we might as well just add some value to the YouTube community, give them some things they haven't heard yet. We kind of know our stories at this point. And, maybe there's some interesting stuff that you've been dealing with. Like maybe you could even share some clinical stories. Obviously, the confidentiality can remain, but perhaps just talk about some wild stuff you've seen, maybe some wild transitions you've seen for people coming back from veganism or anything like that.
Yeah, so that's something that I talk about a lot because everyone wants to bring up the studies. It's always about the studies, but in clinical practice, the studies don't always apply. So yes, you take in new information, new science, read up on everything, but at the end of the day, you have to pay attention to what's working for your client, what's working for you. And so usually a lot of a practitioner's knowledge is basically coming off of what works in the field. Mm-hmm. And in the field is when you see a lot of people, like what's going on in YouTube right now, they're having problems around the 4 or 5 year mark for a lot of different reasons. A lot of nutrients run out. And it also depends on the person's starting point. So whatever health reserves you've had starting veganism and going through it. So a lot of people last longer because they are healthier starting out. They have more nutrient reserves. They have, different genetics, things like that. But a lot of things that you see in clinical practice is iron deficiency, which, people like Vegan Gains will say that, there's no higher rates of iron deficiency in vegans. But when you're working in clinical practice, for women especially, not for men so much, because they're not bleeding every month, they don't need to replace a lot of blood. But for women, iron deficiency, anemia is definitely an issue, and hormones for sure. Hormones. For women, it completely messes up their cycle. I've experienced it myself, clients. Some women go into early menopause because of veganism.
How early of menopause have you seen? Because that's something I actually just heard recently. All the other stuff you've said is spot on from my experience as well. I'm not a clinical practitioner, but I knew a bunch of vegans in real life, and I knew almost every girl that I knew in real life as a vegan was at least lost their period at some point in their vegan journey, whether it was towards the end or the very beginning, and they straightened it out, So what are you talking about when you say early menopause? How early are we seeing this?
I've seen it.
And is it reversible?
In late 20s, I've seen it.
Late 20s.
It can be reversible as long as you don't go an extremely long time not changing it, like not listening to your body.
Wow.
Yeah.
So another thing you said that was interesting too is the anemia. I like to call this the vegan death sentence because to my knowledge, iron is not something you can readily supplement. Even if you were to take iron supplements, it doesn't really absorb into your body from what I research and know. And also you can have your iron like 200% RDA value on chronometer, but your body is not going to necessarily absorb that from plants.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen where girls, they go from basically anemic on their blood tests, and then like within a few weeks of eating like just eggs and fish and chicken, they are completely back to normal.
Yeah. I was anemic towards the end. My ferritin was extremely low. Within a few weeks of eating liver and red meat and stuff, everything was back up to normal. My best friend, she donated blood like almost every single month. And when she was eating an omnivorous diet, she could do that. When she went vegan, about a year into it, they started telling her you can't donate blood anymore. Your levels aren't high enough. 3 weeks after changing her diet, and she didn't even eat red meat. 3 weeks after changing her diet, her iron levels were up enough to donate blood again.
Wow. I've heard actually that from the phlebotomists that do that, that take the blood. I think it's a phlebotomist that takes the blood, right? In the blood drives. They flat out say that like they turn vegans away. Like if a vegan comes up and is just like, yeah, I'm vegan, by the way, they're just like, don't even bother. Like they're essentially turning vegans away because they know that they're probably iron deficient and they just don't want their blood. That's pretty
Yeah.
pathetic, actually.
Yeah, there's so many nutrients out there that they'll say are not essential, but consuming them makes a difference.
Right.
You might be able to get by, with plant iron for a while, but it's not optimal.
And like you said, it's not something that happens immediately. Like that 4 to 5 year mark, that's something that I also talk a lot about. That exact mark, it's
Mhm.
really the wall for most vegans. They start experiencing all kinds of issues at that mark. Sure, some go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, but it doesn't even mean that it's gonna keep working for another 10 years. Like it could fail on you tomorrow, and there's gonna be no recovery for you. And that's what these people, it really kind of upsets me because they'll go 10 years and say, well, I've been doing it for 10 years. But guess what? We have people dropping out of veganism 12 years in, 20 years in,
Mhm.
and they share their story and they're just like, basically, there was no recovery for me. Like the bottom fell out and that was it. And the
Yeah.
vegans do not want to acknowledge. And I know that you are open about, like not being down with veganism anymore. So
Yeah.
it's something that I talk about here for sure. And like I've kind of gotten a reputation for bashing vegans, but I think that if you're coming from the ex-vegan background, you kind of feel duped in a way. Like I thought this was the healthiest way, and then you have all these people basically, standing on the studies like you said, and they point at the piece of paper, and it doesn't add up at the end of the day. Like it doesn't matter that it's working for you and you have the studies to back it. Something that I
Mhm.
brought up with Vegan Gains the other night. I said, okay, so I'm going to be generous and give you, let you say that it works for 90% of the people. Well, let's say veganism works hypothetically for 90% of the population for their whole life, which we both know is probably like 1% or less, right?
Mhm.
In reality, but let's just give them 90%. Okay, so let's say there's 10%. Are you willing to go there? And the vegans are like, well, yeah, okay, maybe 10%, maybe. But how do you know if you're the 10%? There's no,
Mhm.
so how do you need to focus on your body, what your body's telling you. And they just
Yeah.
don't, they're like, oh, I'd rather go with the wide body of evidence. And it's like, okay, but you just told me that there's 10% of people that are going to fail. So let's determine if you're part of the 90 or part of the 10. Like, how do we determine that? Okay, you're going to have all these symptoms. You see what I'm saying? And they do
You have to
not want
go
to
through
acknowledge that.
damage. You have to go through damage before you find out if you're that person or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like me losing all the enamel off my teeth, basically, going from perfect teeth to having completely damaged teeth. And yeah, that's the lifelong price that I paid. And, I talk about still being pissed off about that.
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed my jaw structure changing. I noticed my teeth were getting more crooked than they were before on a vegan diet.
mm,
Like there was so much deterioration and degeneration going going on. And I think a lot of it is because, so I started, so I thought I was going to learn, veganism or a vegan diet is the greatest thing out there.
Hmm.
But what happened in school was I learned that maybe not so much. There's a lot of nutrients that are hard to get. It's pretty much like you're at a metabolic disadvantage because there's so many things that you have to convert. There's so many things like you're not eating cholesterol. Now you have to make more cholesterol. You have to convert ALL to DHA. You need to convert B6 to the active form to build the amino acids that you're not consuming. So even though
And all this comes at a cost, right? Like your body has to work in overdrive to make
yeah,
these conversions. It's not necessarily its first choice.
yeah. If you're eating the nutrients readily available, your body can digest it and assimilate it, put it where it needs to go. If you need to convert everything before those metabolic steps, then you're adding extra metabolic steps to the whole system.
What would you say is like the top 1, 2, or 3, like, I guess, symptoms that a vegan has or they start to have where they basically hit the wall and they have to come see somebody like you, or they start doing the research on their own, like what do you think it is that really gets them to consider what they're doing might be the incorrect path?
A lot of the time, the hardest thing is mentally, like
Mm.
mentally trying to bring them back to a space where they don't think the animal products are going to kill them, pretty much. Um,
What do you
yeah,
think are like
and
symptoms like digestive issues or mental issues? What are you seeing the most where people are just like, I can't go on like this. I need to change my diet?
the fatigue, which is coming from a few different things, and definitely the mental health. Those are the most popular things. And you see so many vegans online talking about their daily struggles with anxiety and depression. Like that is not normal. Like your normal, healthy state of being should not be anxiety and depression. And it's kind of sensationalized and like, oh, um, people have podcasts. There's vegans that have podcasts about anxiety and depression and mental health. That's not your natural state of being. You should not be depressed and anxious all the time. Something is missing in your diet. Like these things can be healed naturally. So for you to supposedly be on the most healthiest natural diet, but then still struggling with things that you need pharmaceuticals for, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Clearly, there is an error there, and their vegan bias kind of stops them from seeing that. I was there, like it happened to me too. I noticed, like I thought I felt great, but I noticed kind of blood sugar ups and downs at the 2 year mark,
Mm-hmm.
and I never did like any crazy fast or anything like that. I always ate pretty healthy. I never ate low fat, and almost lost my period, and I had never ate low fat.
What were your macros like for the majority of your vegan excursion?
So the first year, I was kind of doing more of a high carb, lower fat, but it wasn't extremely low. It was probably about 10 to 15% fat. The protein was probably about 15 to 20, and then the rest carbs.
Mm-hmm. And that's typically like as good as it gets on a vegan diet in terms of macro breakdown because like I tell people all the time, lentils are 77% carbohydrate. Like
Mhm.
that's seen as this extremely high protein food, but go punch that into Chronometer vegans. I mean, it's a high carb
Yeah.
food. So, and that's as good as you're going to get. I mean, come on. Like, okay, so I guess you can eat tofu or something like that, but you're going to need to eat a huge amount of it to counterbalance the amount of carbs.
Yeah. And avoiding carbs can be very like beneficial clinically for a lot of different issues. So there's some things that are you're just not going to heal, or you're not going to heal as fast, or you're not going to see as great results as you would if you avoided them. Like there's just some things that you just can't do on a vegan diet. One of my latest videos I made of Goji Man's clients, I don't know if you've seen it, but I was
The
explaining
woman,
that, yeah, explaining that the best option to heal is not always a vegan option. So if you're stuck in those ethics, you're not going to have your client's best interest at heart. Like it's
100%.
not there.
And it's a point also that I've made against Goji Man. And, I don't want to beat on this guy too hard. I know that he's talked to some people on my team, but recently, but this is just a fact. His school, by his own admission, doesn't teach that a vegan diet is the most optimal diet. So the things that he's teaching people are his own like theories and hypotheses, and within his own ideology. And I'm sure there's other vegans out there doing it. And you hear about people that are going through med school and stuff like that, that they're basically forced to give anti-vegan answers on their tests so that they pass the tests. Well, you know, they're not even in the field yet, and they're already making these assumptions based on what they hear vegans say online, or the vegan studies, or the vegan propaganda. And then they're going in there and they're thinking to themselves, they have all the answers already, when the school that they're being taught by is not even telling them that this is the way to go, you know? So it's interesting.
I entered school like that too. I was like, oh, I'm going to show them, they're behind on the science. And then it was like, as it kind of happened simultaneously, like as I was learning about nutrition, I started having problems. So I was putting all the pieces together. But yeah, the earliest symptoms for me was definitely blood sugar spikes and highs and lows. I would fall asleep after drinking a smoothie. Like just out. Yeah.
I had that experience too. I loved my banana smoothies in terms of flavor, and it was one of the only consistent forms of calories that I could get every day that was actually reasonably priced, and sort of it gave me bloating and gas almost immediately every time. However, it did make me feel good. Like I had the energy, but the bloating and the gas like counterbalanced it. And I think because of the digestive issues, it just like zapped the energy out of me. And then as soon as I started adding fat to those smoothies, I was literally just falling asleep in my chair. Like that blood sugar concoction that, you know, once you get a couple of scoops of peanut butter in there, some soy milk, now you got a high fat, high sugar, you're toast. You're done. You're going to fall asleep. Yeah, it's just like eating bread and butter, you know?
I experimented with that too, because I was like, maybe I need to add more fat to the smoothie, more fiber, slow down the sugar, this and that. So, you know, I experimented with putting greens in it and fat, and it was just all bad, like nothing.
Do you have experience with any diabetic clients, anything like that? What have you seen in terms of like, you know, high carb, low fat versus, because you know how like Neil Barnard, are you familiar with him, the vegan doctor? And, you know, he makes the claim that he can reverse type 2 diabetes at a 95% rate by going high carb, low fat vegan. I'm not sure how accurate that claim is. And I know that he's done a lot of self-published studies on his own with his own teams that have shown, you know, what his methods prove or whatever. But in the mainstream, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see a mainstream doctor, like my uncle, for instance. He's on a ketogenic diet. His doctor put him on a ketogenic diet, and it's done the best for him that he's seen in the last 20 years of eating. You know, he lost weight, which he didn't really need to, but he's kind of lost a little bit of weight, and his numbers are good. So, what do you think about that? Like, what have you seen in terms of somebody who tried to control their diabetes, maybe with a high carb, super low fat diet, or does that even work? Like, what are these people saying?
That's why I don't understand, like, where are these studies coming from? And I don't put so much faith in these studies, because in clinical practice, that is a huge no-no. Like, you don't put a diabetic on a high carb diet. It's
like gasoline and fire mixed together. I mean, I know. And the vegan doctors are coming out and they're saying like, I can't believe that people are against this. Like, it's propaganda to be against. It's like, no, like you got guys like Ben Greenfield and Peter Attia, who wear I forget what it's called, the persistent blood glucose monitor, basically like like what a hardcore diabetic would need, but these guys are wearing it because they're like addicted to fitness, you know. But what they're doing is they're actually monitoring their blood glucose levels after they eat all throughout the day, and what they're noticing is when they're in a ketogenic state, or they're in a very low carb state, when they do consume fats or proteins, their blood glucose is just flat all day. Like Dr. Saladino talks about how it's boring to watch the glucose monitor because it's just dead flat all day long. And so how can the vegans deny that? We know that you're going to at least spike your blood sugar and your insulin if you consume a high carb meal. Even if it goes down within an hour, it doesn't matter. It's still a bigger blip on the radar than a high fat, high protein meal.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
Yeah, there's always exceptions. Like, some people are okay, and it depends on like how severe your diabetes is, and all of those factors come into play. But for the most part, it's a recipe for disaster.
I totally agree. It's funny. We've got some vegan trolls in the chat. Good old Rocco's Vegan Life. It's funny. People think that you can't gain weight on a high carb diet, and I've actually seen a girl that I lived with. She met Durian Rider in Thailand, and she moved to Hawaii. And basically, this girl was already probably 30, 40 pounds overweight when she got there. Keep in mind, this is a cyclist who is riding her bike 80 to 100 miles a week, like consistently, obsessed with the high carb, low fat message. Like she was basically raw too on top of that, but she had an eating disorder to where she needed to like stuff her stomach full every single meal. Like that was part of her like eating disorder, was like just feeling that stuffness, you know. She had a lot of other mental issues, 100%. However, she was eating so much fruit calories that she was holding on to her weight even as a cyclist pedaling, 6 to 8 hours a week. Like how can you do that? How can you even, I mean, it's crazy that people think that you can't gain weight eating that way. You definitely can if you push it hard enough. And it will be the wrong kind of way too. And I know you're into fitness as well, so maybe we could talk more about that, is like the body transformation that you've seen. Because I was looking at your Instagram yesterday, and you were still having good results as a vegan. You had like one where you were showing like your abs and stuff like that, and you still had like definition, and you weren't like totally skinny fat soft like a lot of people get. So what kind of stuff have you seen?
So, and this is what people don't get, because people, when I first put up my ex-vegan story, everyone went to my Instagram. I was like, what are you talking about? You looked great. You're lying. So what happened is that at first I seen results. At first I actually got the smallest that I've ever been, as far as in terms of inches. My waist shrunk, my thighs shrunk, and I've always naturally put on more weight on my lower half. But everything shrunk. Like my butt disappeared, my legs disappeared at first. And I have some photos like way back in that time period where I was really tiny, and all my family members were saying, oh my God, like you're losing so much weight. And then I started lifting heavier, like trying to stimulate the muscle to get it back, which was working for a while. But then I kind of hit a plateau where I felt like I couldn't eat enough to sustain that muscle or to sustain that weight. So if I didn't stuff myself constantly, and I was eating tempeh and tofu and beans and avocados and nuts, like I was trying to get the most calories and the most protein. At that point, I had kind of ditched the high carb thing. About the 2-year mark, I was like, this is not working for me. I started getting like repulsed by carbs. Like I didn't want them at all anymore. So
I had a saying, it was sick of sweet. I'm sick of sweet.
Yeah, I was disgusted, and I've never been a sweet person. I was always savory. So it was hard for me to even eat, a sweet potato or something like that. But so I reached this plateau, and for a while, I just kept stuffing myself because I was like, oh, I have to eat more. Like my digestion will get used to it, kind of thing. And I was taking digestive enzymes and all of these things, because at the time in school, I was learning about digestion. And it would help for, a couple days. And then I would reach a point where I would start getting sick because I was stuffing myself too much. But if I didn't stuff myself, I would like literally waste away. So I would notice that after like a heavy leg day, the next day I would wake up, you're expecting results. You're expecting a pump, stuff like that. And I would actually shrink. So my muscle was eating itself to repair itself, because I wasn't getting the calories or the amino acids and nutrients needed for that recovery and those results to grow. So working out heavy would make me smaller instead of bigger. Whereas before, when I was on an omnivorous diet, I would notice, a half-inch difference within a day of a heavy leg workout. Like my body just responds that fast. I've worked out since I was like 12 years old, so I have a lot of muscle memory. And the muscle memory was not happening the third, especially the 4th year of veganism.
I had the exact to a T experience basically, and it's funny because Vegan Gains the other night, he told me that he basically said that gaining muscle mass only comes from a progressive overload. It doesn't come. It's diet is the least important part of it, and you just have so many people in the chat like that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, he seems to be making muscle gains now, but who knows what he's doing behind the scenes. Like again, I don't know if you were taking vegan protein supplements. Were you taking powders or anything at that time when you were trying to make those gains?
Yes, I started to when I noticed that I was getting smaller instead of bigger. So, but
Did it help at all?
the only problem was that I had to sacrifice digestion. So I would be bloated. I would see a little bit more results as far as gaining muscle, but then I would be bloated and extremely uncomfortable from the protein powders.
Yeah, that was my experience. I didn't have a direct negative impact from the protein powder specifically. It was more so from all the plant fibers that I was also eating. Like, I do like a cup of dried lentils, and you know how much that makes. I mean, it ends up being like a massive bowl, and I'm like killing myself to get 60 grams of protein in a single meal, whereas like now I can eat a pound of steak and it's like well over 100 grams of protein, and I'm sure vegans are having a heart attack because that's more than they're eating an entire day. But it's so easy now, and the gains are just like, they're just consistent. And another thing too, like you said, you started working out when you were 12. A lot of vegans, they didn't even start getting control of their health until they went vegan in the first place. So they have absolutely no athletic background to even compare it to. And the meat strength is totally different than the vegan strength. Even when you're eating in a surplus with heavy protein, I don't care what you say, what these people are saying, that, they're making just as good of gains. If that's the case, I feel like they're the genetic outliers. It's not going to be the case for the majority of people, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people falling off that are also having these muscular, they're missing out on muscle gains and things like that. But it's typically the people who can recognize that they used to gain a lot better than they do as a vegan.
Yeah. I think it's because you pay attention to your body so much. You know your body. It's kind of your job to know your body and to pay attention to the differences. Like when you work out, if you're working out to see a difference, then you're paying attention.
Right, but all the vegans will say you have body dysmorphia if you go to the gym and you don't need that muscle mass, and then it's always like immediately into the ethics. They like slap you with the the health thing first, and then they hit you with the ethics right away, and the murder and the torture and the rape, and you're just like, fuck, man, I'm trying to tell you I lost my ass over here. Like, it just happens.
Yeah.
My whole family's telling me I look sick. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, when like I had curves when I was 12, like without even working out. So that's like my body's natural state. So when your genetics are being changed from a diet negatively, that's when you know there's a problem.
Did you always have a control like of your body fat level? So like, when you say curves, like was it always within reason of like good body fat levels, or like some girls get curves because they got a little extra, but was it that kind of curves, or was it like, muscle tone and things like that?
That's the thing, is that so it's always been like healthy curves. So if you put, as a woman, if you put on weight in your thighs, your butt, your boobs, as long as it's not in the abdominal region, that's healthy fat. Those are nutrient reserves, especially when you're of age to have children. Those are nutrient reserves for a baby. And this is why, men are attracted to women who have curves. Like, that is fertility. Your hips are supposed to go wider during puberty. You're supposed to start gaining more fat there. So to say that it's like normal to be pin straight and have no hips, that's not what we see in nature. That's not normal. So if you're putting on weight in those areas, that's healthy. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed about. This is the other thing that bothers me in the vegan community, is that this pin straight, this pin thin body is promoted, which is fine. I'm not shaming women. It's fine if you're naturally like that. If some women just cannot gain weight no matter what they eat, fine. But if you're wasting away, if you're getting emaciated, that's not your body's natural state. That's not healthy. Like, and only they would know that.
Well, some of them wouldn't know that because, like, for instance, Nina and Randa are lifelong vegans since birth, and you look at them and it's an interesting thing going on. And I know I'm going to get flamed from their fans for this, but basically, they've got what I call the vegan shoulders, which is like that 90-degree angle. There's just no thickness here, no plumpness, and they are like, they're starting to age a bit beyond and I think they're 25. They're starting to like look a little bit older in terms of like skin quality, but they have like a very youthful, it's very difficult to explain this. They have a childlike build structure, but their faces and everything is starting to age beyond that. So like they are trapped in like a 16-year-old girl's body. From what I've heard, they also got puberty extremely late as well.
Yeah, I watched one of their recent videos where they said they started their period at like 17 or something.
Right. That's
In
not normal,
17?
right?
No.
Yeah, very
Like,
interesting.
that was shocking to me. But you can tell that their bodies didn't develop the way that they would if they had, you know, some healthy fat in their diet, because that's all hormones.
Agreed. And it's all, I think that's another thing just about weight manipulation and gaining muscle mass and all this stuff is understanding how to master the hormones. And I think, like you said, women's hormones get way more whacked out than men's, typically speaking. But I think it eventually catches up to everybody, which is why I think that people are getting skinny fat, and they say that you can't target certain areas of your body to lose fat. But like me personally, I have never had additional fat in my stomach in my whole life, except when I started to go vegan. I was starting to gain just in my stomach. Like I had a little beer belly, and my arms were still skinny. My neck was super skinny. My face was like sucked out like a ghoul. And yet I had this little fat pouch in my stomach, like so ripply and soft. And that's, to me, that's like what I consider an insulin belly. Like you're just literally packing in sugar. You're hitting your insulin all day long. Yeah. And it's funny. I was having a DM battle yesterday with Durian Ryder, and he's like, "Oh, bro, insulin is anabolic as fuck. It makes you grow muscle." I'm like, it does make you grow muscle, but if you're just eating carbohydrates and low protein and you're not working out, you're going to get skinny fat. You're going to gain fat from that. You're not going to gain muscle from that. It's not a steroid, you know?
Yeah, I did. And because I've been through it, like I recognize it in all these influencers. Like I'm not going to, you know, name certain names, but there's some women.
You can. You're more than welcome to if you want to, but if you don't have to, if you don't, because I like to go full shit talking mode, to be honest with you, because I feel, and I'm not trying to like push you into this, but I feel like as we call these people out, it shakes their foundation and it forces them to come out of their little holes and expose themselves. And we're already seeing that. You know, we're seeing these vegan influencers. They're attacking me and my little baby 3,500 subscriber channel, and they're showing themselves. And it's only weakening their position because more people are being attracted to this ex-vegan carnivore type lifestyle, and they're coming around to see what's going on. And is this Drew guy crazy? Is he just some like little troll that's coming out of nowhere? No, they're tuning in and they're actually saying, "Oh shit, this guy's telling me stuff that I already am feeling in my head." And there's been people who've been giving me sorries and stuff like that. So it's crazy.
This is why I do like some ex-vegan stories on my channel, is because the only thing that snapped me out of it was listening to other people's stories.
Yeah.
And everything clicking, like that's happening to me, that's happening to me, that's happening to me. Oh my God, it's the vegan diet, pretty much. Because there's so many similarities between everybody's stories. There's, of course, different things that happen to different people, but for the most part, it's extremely similar. And so I think when people hear other people's stories and what they're going through, I've had so many emails like, "Thank you so much. Can you get me in contact with this person or that person? They're going through the exact same thing I am." Or people telling me, you know, "I just started incorporating animal products again and I feel so much better immediately." But yeah, that's why I do those stories, is because the conditioning is so deep that if you don't relate to it like on a deep level with that person, it doesn't snap you out of it.
Well, being vegan in the first place is an emotional decision. So it's very hard to break somebody out of an emotional decision without involving emotion. You have to show the stories. You have to show, you know, if somebody got into veganism because they saw the slaughterhouse footage and they're just like, that's all they see when they look at meat now. Like that's not a study. That's not a personal experience. That is literally emotional brainwashing right there. Yeah. You know, so you were going to say something and I totally cut you off. You were going to talk about a YouTuber or somebody, influencer, that you don't want to name names.
Oh, it's not to talk shit or anything, but Bianca Taylor, I've followed her for a while.
I'm not familiar with her, but go on.
She's, can't remember his name. One of the vegan bodybuilder guys. I don't remember his name. Someone in the chat help me out. But anyway, so Bianca Taylor, I followed her for a while. I love her. She's sweet, but she's struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, like extremely bad. I think she has a podcast on it, but what's starting to happen with her physique is what happened with mine, where I could not keep muscle mass on and I was super soft. Like, yes, I was getting curves still, because I was like just in the gym constantly trying to get that pump.
She's with
But
Nimai. Okay.
yeah. I could, when you compare like either my physique like that or her physique like that to someone else who works out that often, who eats meat, it's a lot harder.
Yes, they have
There's a
the
lot more
lean, hard
muscle.
shred. And there's no vegans that look like that. There's not.
Yeah. So it just, watching people like that suffer and knowing that it's because of the vegan diet, it's so hard for me.
Yeah.
So hard for me.
Well, the vegan diet is such a mind F because you do see results in some ways in the beginning. And it has like this little placebo mental boost or whatever it is. You feel pretty good for a while when you're just getting lit off sugar all day. I mean, you do feel energized, like your eyes are just like, boing, you feel like ready to run through a wall. But that does start to change over time. It's like in my first year of veganism video, I did a review on it. And I had no cavities up to that year. And I was like, my mouth feels clean, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, 4 cavities. So it's like things can change between 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. It's not going to remain exactly the same. And things don't get better. They get worse, straight up.
Yeah. That's why I keep saying it's a metabolic disadvantage, because it takes a while for everything to add up. Like this system starts failing, this system starts failing, this starts backing up, that starts backing up. And it takes a while. Like I talk about lactic acidosis a lot, which lactic acid is a byproduct of carbohydrate metabolism. It's unavoidable. You can't, like if you're digesting carbs, you're creating lactic acid. And when you're only digesting carbs and you're constantly digesting carbs, you get a buildup. The liver can't really handle it. So towards the end of veganism, that's what I was suffering with. I had so much pain, joint pain, muscle pain, partly because of lack of nutrients, but a lot of it was lactic acid buildup. So that sore feeling you get in your muscles after a workout, that's there and it never goes away because you're overproducing lactic acid. The body can't clear it enough. And then as lactic acid goes up in the blood, oxygen goes down in the blood. So I noticed that like my endurance, I couldn't breathe. A lot of the times I felt out of breath. I couldn't do a lot of cardio because I felt out of breath. I just couldn't catch my breath.
What do you think about this theory? This is sort of something that I've ran by other vegans that worked out and stuff like that. Basically, like you hear vegans say that they recover so quickly. They recover so fast. Well, I have a theory about that. It's not that they recover fast. It's that they aren't able to dig deep into the muscle to begin with in their workout. So they're getting a less quality workout to begin with. It's like as if I were to go in there and instead of doing 10 reps till failure, I stop at 7 reps. It's like, and then the next day I feel great. Yeah, you feel great because you didn't work out hard. Because you can't work out hard, Yeah.
Towards the end, I couldn't get like a pump at all. Like my muscles felt like they were just in hibernation. I couldn't do it. Somebody said in the chat, I seen someone ask me about vitamin C and Linus Pauling, Eli, the science guy. So they talked a lot about Linus Pauling at my school. He was kind of one of the guys that they base a lot of the knowledge off of. But the original formula had liver in it, had raw liver. So pretty much it's just healing with vitamin C. So vitamin C heals a lot of diseases, cancer, stuff like that. But the original formula, what liver was involved. And then I don't know if it's his daughter, his granddaughter, whoever took over, they took out the liver and they made the protocol vegan. But the original protocol was never vegan. It was juicing and then liver.
Rocco, I see you trolling hard in the chat. Here's what I'm going to do for you, buddy. You're going to get one solid question that me and Megan are going to answer. And if you don't ask a good question, I'm just going to put you in timeout, you little boy. I'm going to spank you. Make it a good one. It's going to be one question. That's it. Otherwise, keep your lips shut. Nimai is a drug lord, roid boy. I heard he's losing all kinds of gains lately. So, that's cool. I mean, people, they shift their interests, And
Megan, would you debate Richard Richard, not a chance because they're not debates. They are ego episodes. That's what
Agree.
that is. I'm not interested in debating like science and like that. What I'm interested in is clinical results. What I'm interested in is helping people, and each client is different, and you have to know the body so well that you can advise them what is happening with them, not a paper, what's happening with the actual individual person.
Again, the papers will even say that not everybody's going to work with this. It's going to be an average. So if you fall outside that average, then who determines that? You need to understand how to help people when they are not falling within the average. That's where
Yeah.
the experts come in. That's when you go find somebody like yourself, right? Because if it was so easy and it was just a matter of definites, they wouldn't need your help. You
Yeah,
know?
I always get questions like, "Oh, this is happening to me. What can I do?" I was like, "I honestly, in order to help you 100%, I have to do like a full health history. And what something that I do is a symptomatology questionnaire. So based on certain symptoms, like everything is that is a deficiency has a symptom. So certain things will show up in the skin, the eyes, the face, the hair, all of this. So combining all of that information, I can get a better picture of what is going on and then put the pieces of the puzzle together because that's what it is. Every single client, I have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. There's no study that's going to point me into what is going to fix them. Every single person is different. But
Agreed.
I was in Toronto for about 7 years, and my first year of veganism, or maybe it was my second, I don't remember exactly, but I went to a high carb meetup with Richard and Vegetable Police and Lauren from Starch Solution in Christie Pitts Park. But what I noticed with Vegan Gains is that he was so much more leaner and healthy looking back then, and now he's getting the fat muscle that that happens towards, end stage veganism. You either get skinny fat or you get fat muscle.
Yep, I agree. That's exactly what happened to me. And then as soon as I stopped working out, the fat stayed, but the muscle shrunk down. Like I went from being completely skinny after my juice fast, where I just was skin and bones, basically. I
Mhm.
worked out. I worked out. I gained a little bit of muscle mass because things were kind of going good. I reset my system maybe by doing the juice fast. I don't really know exactly. But that like honeymoon phase lasted about 6 to 9 months. Then I realized there's no way that I can continue gaining muscle at that point unless I started really increasing my calories. And then basically I started gaining just tons of fat. My muscle did not really increase at all at that point. I
Mhm.
started getting that fat muscle. And then as soon as like if I took a month or two off of working out, the fat just stayed, but the muscle just deteriorated. And like I show pictures of myself like going from lean to kind of ripped to kind of fat and ripped, then
Mhm.
just to straight fat, like I had man boobs basically.
Yeah, and
Pretty
this
sad.
is what people don't get is like if you look at my Instagram, I'm not even really that active on it. I didn't post that much because I would only take pictures on the good days. And I'm sure like most people do this, and a lot of vegans have admitted to this, is that they only show the good days. And so the days, where I looked like I had a pump or had more curves, those were the good days. And then there was a whole week or two in between those where I was struggling. I wasn't getting the gains that I wanted. My digestion was suffering. It was a roller coaster of trying to get in enough calories and trying to balance not bloating and yeah. And now I don't even have to eat that much animal protein for me to keep my muscle. I haven't even been working out because what I did, I took a break because I had so many joint problems and injuries that I wanted to just feed and heal and recover
Mm-hmm.
without keeping, the damage going. So I started incorporating animal products back in October, and I started taking a break in December from the gym because I just intuitively I felt like I needed to everything to heal. And that's when I started noticing a huge difference, was when I stopped pounding my body and just let the nutrition do its job. And now I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm ready to get back into the gym. I was working out once a week just to kind of keep the muscle memory going, but my curves stay and my muscle stays. I don't have to constantly pump it up every single day.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, and with I felt like with vegan diet, basically you stop working out and it's ready to go. Like it's the most catabolic diet in the world.
Yeah.
Because when you do need energy, you don't shift to a fat burning mode because you're eating so many damn carbs. Your body's like, where am I going to get carbs? It goes straight to gluconeogenesis, starts eating your muscle mass for energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about, you mentioned digestion, and I think it's my most favorite topic of all. If I could become like a digestive expert, that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
And we hear a lot about people with Sibo and Candida. I think they're kind of generic terms at this point. Everybody uses it for everything that's wrong with their stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you, in the clinical world, what do people, like somebody comes to you, they have a thick white tongue. What's your go-to? What's your method there?
Definitely look at the diet. So I always take a diet journal. I get them, depending on how serious the situation is, 3 to 7 days of everything that they're putting into their mouth. Drink, supplements, food. So I can take a look at the diet and see what's going on there, because diet is the foundation. It's the most important part. And then once we clean up the diet, we start looking at supplements that can fine tune whatever is going on. So for some people, once they clean up the diet, it's enough for the body to re-regulate and clean up stuff like that. And then for other people, they need more of a aggressive approach. So depending on how serious the condition is, you have to treat it with the same kind of aggression as the condition. So if you have extreme candida or Sibo, you definitely are going to benefit from taking some natural supplements or being on a natural protocol. So Goji Man talks about this a lot, and it's a common method in functional nutrition, which is like the 5-step gut healing protocol, where you replace, renoculate, that kind of stuff. And that does work. It's very effective. It's very efficient, but it's not effective or efficient if the diet is the root cause of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful to not treat to not use natural medicine to treat things and use it just like allopathic medicine would. So in allopathic medicine, a regular MD, they would give you an antibiotic.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. It's over, right? In natural medicine, you have to find out what the root cause of the problem is. Yes, you can use natural antibiotics to help fine tune things, clear it up, kill off the bacteria, things like that. But if you don't fix the root cause of the problem, it's going to keep coming back.
Definitely.
This is what we find when you're using antibiotics. Goji Man talks about this, that antibiotics completely destroyed his gut, and he's talking about pharmaceuticals, which I completely agree with. I think that you should not take pharmaceutical medication unless it's a complete emergency, completely necessary, last resort kind of thing, because there are a lot of options naturally to heal these things. So natural antibiotics are not going to do damage like a pharmaceutical antibiotic would. So when these ex-vegan influencers come out and they say, I didn't want to take the antibiotics, I want to do it a more natural way, that's not what I want to do. Like, that is completely understandable. Like, I would do the same thing. I would not want to destroy my gut further when you're already having gut issues with antibiotics, because your regular general practitioner, MD, doesn't really understand that. They don't really think that pharmaceuticals do that much damage to you, but they wreak havoc on the gut. And that's what a lot of my focus on, and the focus on in my school is the damage that pharmaceuticals do to the digestive system and how to restore that naturally. So pharmaceutical antibiotics are killing everything. They're leaving like a neutral ground in your body. They killed the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And so a lot of the times what happens is the bad bacteria are more aggressive and they just come back. And so you're kind of on this antibiotic roller coaster where you have to keep taking them. And that's not fixing the problem. What it's doing is putting money in, the doctor's pocket, in the pharmaceuticals pocket. So with natural antibiotics, they may take a little bit longer. You might have to be a little bit more aggressive with them, but long term, they work more effectively.
So like you are in a way on the same advice giving as a Goji Man in that respect, like, because what he does recommend is, yes, he does recommend the rifaximin, right? Which I guess that's a more natural antibiotic. Is that what you're talking about in terms of like a natural?
No, I don't recommend any pharmaceuticals,
Hmm.
especially for gut issues. Like obviously, like if you need a surgery, take, the painkillers and stuff like that. That understandable. It's all in context, right?
Right.
If I was in a car accident and my leg was broken, give me the medication. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so everything in context. But as far as your digestive system, you can't heal it if you're doing more damage to it. And this is what pharmaceutical antibiotics are doing, more damage.
Um, I definitely agree with that. And I think that that's part of why my digestion was so messed up and why I'm doing this sort of like 60-day protocol. I have the Candida support pills right here. I've been taking 2 of these a day. I'm not putting ultimate faith in these, but what I can say is, and I'm going to do more updates on videos on this to be a little bit more formal about it, but um, I'm only a week in and I can already say, things could change, but I'm like pushing it basically. Like yesterday, I drank a bunch of beer. I had a bunch of food at my brother's baby shower, and I kind of planned for this. Like normally every day I'm eating really clean. I'm eating at home. I'm cooking like
Mhm.
steak. I'm measuring my food basically. But yesterday was just like one of those days where you just like go off the handle, family
Mhm.
event, and already like my digestion today has been really really good, like really good. And the food that I ate was just completely off the menu. So I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
The more your gut heals, the more you'll be able to deal with things. Like you should have some metabolic flexibility and you should have some resistance as far as things you can eat,
Right.
quote unquote bad food. If you have a healthy microbiome, you'll be fine. You might notice like a little bit of a difference, but you'll be fine. If you're having severe reactions to food, and I see this, it's very common in the ex-vegan community, is like they start like bashing vegetables and bashing fruit like they're poison and they're going to kill you and oh my god, it's a conspiracy.
Mhm.
um Obviously certain foods are more beneficial, but at the end of the day, it's all in moderation. If you have, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and your gut microbiome is healthy, it shouldn't affect you like that. If you're having a severe reaction that bad, then your digestive system needs some healing.
Yeah, like that's an indication that you need to get stronger. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that if you can't handle like one little chocolate ball, then
Yeah.
something's wrong with you. You should be pretty damn resilient as a human being. Because I
Hmm.
know people that can eat the craziest stuff. They might be overweight, they might not have any muscle mass. They might just be, whatever average people, but they are not the ones complaining about bloating and gas all the time. It's these string bean vegans that are having these issues.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to have a normal ability to digest the average food. Obviously you can optimize things because that's what I'm
Mhm.
interested in, but it doesn't mean that you should be forced to eat those foods. Kind of like, you know, I don't know Michaela Peterson's whole scenario, but like it seems like she can only eat beef. That seems restrictive to me, and she's even on the carnivore side. So I don't want to be on that end of it, and I don't want to be on the vegan end of it where I think that only fruits and vegetables, raw fruits and vegetables, are these like healthy things. That seems
Yeah.
ridiculous to me.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, is that people have autoimmune conditions, and this is extremely common nowadays for several different reasons. But those cases, like in order to heal, you kind of have to stop hyperstimulating the immune system. You know what
Mm,
I mean? So not necessarily that they have to eat like that forever, but it's a good idea to take those foods out that cause those issues for a while so that your body can get back into homeostasis and rebalance and things like that. Um, Not to say to go back to eating, shit food, but um, it's necessary. Like I said before, like if something is extreme, your condition is extreme, you have to meet it with kind of the same healing protocol, the same intensity in order to rectify that issue.
definitely. Yeah. I've never felt such clean digestion than eating just like meat and water. I mean, that is true. It's so pure. And I think in actually one of your recent videos, you're talking about how you actually don't support just a strict carnivore thing. Maybe we could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, after veganism, I'm like terrified to put a label on anything.
Yeah.
It's like I'm scarred. It's just too much. Like if you build your whole business around like this identity, and then you see like in the vegan community it crash and
Hmm.
fall apart around you.
Yeah.
Um, it's just not something. I don't want to support extremism. I don't want to support that fruits and vegetables are poison, because it's not true. There's properties to fruits and vegetables, and you have to understand the properties. Like certain vegetables are goitrogenic, and you have to understand that. It doesn't mean, if you eat broccoli one time, you're going to get a goiter. No, it's moderation. These things happen over time. So you kind of have to understand different properties of plants and understand what they do in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in context. What do you need right now? What do you need from this food right now? Where do you want to help guide your body? And that's why I talk about, my approach is kind of eating a very nutrient dense animal based diet, and then fine tuning with plants and fine tuning with natural supplements.
Yeah. How much carbs do you think is optimal for the general person then? Like, do you promote a ketogenic diet if the person can do it? Or like, what is your favorite methodology in terms of like what the results say?
So a lot of people feel good on keto, but some people don't. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't feel good at all. So what I would do is get them on more of a higher protein and fat diet, and then kind of up the carbs as needed.
That's what
Per
I do.
their needs, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't even I haven't aimed for ketogenic state at all whatsoever. To me, the protein just seems too low anyways. And also the foods I enjoy eating and that my body is indicating to me how I feel the best is like,
Yeah.
just eating a bunch of meat, eating a bunch of fat, like it
Yeah.
just seems the way to go. Like, I don't understand. And then obviously you throw in carbs for energy and for muscle pump and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm big on eating intuitively. Like I don't track my macros. I don't freak out about things.
Mm-hmm.
When I was vegan, I was desperately trying to, figure out if I was missing anything and trying to balance things. But now that I've changed my diet, I just eat intuitively. And like
That's a scary
I'm
thing
not
for people.
hungry. Yeah, if I'm not hungry that meal, I don't eat. If I'm starving, if I'm craving a steak, like your body will tell you what it needs. And I think especially for women, because you're constantly going through this roller coaster of hormones throughout the month, everything's changing.
Yeah.
I noticed for me that I will crave red meat about a week before I'm supposed to start my period.
Mm.
And then for the rest of the month, I'm not craving it too much. I crave other things. So for women especially, I would definitely emphasize intuitive eating.
What about the people who are craving not necessarily junk foods, but are craving those vegan foods, like the whole plant foods, yet their physical manifestation of those results is not so good? Like, I know fruitarians that are like, all I want is mangoes and strawberries, and that's good enough for me. And they're literally like wasting away.
Yeah, well,
What?
they're lying to themselves in those situations. But as far like, okay, so when I first transitioned, I could only eat animal products. I would try and eat a vegetable and I would have like pain. It was not good. So I took that as my body trying to communicate with me, like I don't want vegetables right now. I just want protein. I just want fat. I don't want that. And it took me a few months to even be able to tolerate romaine lettuce. Like that's how bad it was when I first transitioned from the vegan diet over to omnivorous or carnivorous diet. And so for months, I was just eating pretty much animal products. And then I started having a craving for like a salad. But I would eat romaine lettuce. It's pretty much the most benign lettuce out there. And I would load it with like a creamy dressing and raw cheese and stuff like that. But it was more of like the crunch and the water content. It's a lot lower in fiber. But it took me months just to be able to handle that. And that's just based on your gut health.
Mm.
It's based on, what you need. So that's why I'm not strict carnivore or, anything like that. Because if I'm craving a salad, I'm going to eat a salad. It's stupid to restrict yourself in that sense. Although every single meal, I think, okay, what, meat am I going to eat? Am I going to eat eggs? Am I going to eat cheese? Am I going to have raw milk? Stuff like that. Like that's the basis of my meal. And then if I want to complement it with a little bit of a salad or something else, then I do. But the basis of my meals are animal products. So that's why I say
Yeah.
carnivore based, because I'm not basing a meal off of a salad. I'm basing a meal off of meat, dairy, or eggs.
That's exactly how I choose to eat as well. It just works. I had something incredibly insightful to ask you, but I can't remember it anymore.
I haven't even been looking at the chat.
It's a good go-to when my concentration breaks.
Yeah, I agree. I think fruitarian is dangerous.
Did you take any supplements to get your gut to the place where it is now after veganism?
Yeah, so I took some Candida supplements because I had a little bit of a white tongue and some yeast infection problems going on during the end of veganism, which is very common with vegan women.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even realize it, but
they don't even realize it, people. But you do. Trust me. When you're getting business, getting to work.
like
Okay.
you shouldn't have thick white discharge 24/7. That's not normal.
I've been there.
Yeah, so there's some really good Candida supplements out there, and I always have a link in my video description for professional supplements. So I have a dispensary. I've partnered with a website, so I have my own dispensary where you can get professional supplements. And you want to be careful because Amazon, a lot of the times, a lot of these supplements are coming from they're coming from China, and it's not really regulated. They just slap whatever label they want on it. So you're gonna have to be careful with Amazon, unless it's like the original distributor, but most of them aren't.
My hope with this supplement is that because it's so generic and it's so basic and everybody has access to this, I want to see like what the worst version of Candida supplements can do for me, because this thing is $20. And if this can cure me, that's going to be fucking amazing for a lot of people, because they're going to want to try it too.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's so they tell you to take 2 per day, 1 with each, or with meals preferably. Oregano extract leaf, you can definitely taste it once you ingest it. Caprylic acid, Lactobacillus acidophilus, 4 billion CFU, protease, cellulase, aloe vera leaf gel, arabinogalactin, anise seed, black walnut hulls powder, wormwood leaf powder, and reishi mushroom. And then it says it's a 4-to-1 extract there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. It's pretty standard for Candida. I would say the most beneficial is definitely the caprylic acid, some allicin, but some people have sensitivities to it. So garlic extract, anise, definitely. Clove.
That's a 4-to-1 extract, 50 milligrams.
Caprylic acid, I would say, is the most beneficial for Candida.
That's the same stuff that's in coconut oil, right?
Yeah, it's a medium chain triglyceride, and it's very like antimicrobial. Yeah. It has a certain affinity for Candida. That's why it's so beneficial. And that's the other thing, is that like when you're going after certain bacteria, you kind of have to know what natural supplement has affinity to kill it off, because different bacteria are affected by different supplements.
See, I did the whole oil pulling thing for like 3 weeks or something like that, and it just did absolutely nothing for the white tongue and stuff that was going on in my mouth at that time. Obviously, I was still vegan at that time, but it did nothing. So that's what, for me, it's like I needed to change my diet, and I also need to treat it on a systemic level, not just in my mouth. Like I'm not naive enough to think it's just oral thrush or something like that.
Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely throughout the whole body. Like, and I explain this to women, if you have, reoccurrent yeast infections, the yeast is coming from your digestive tract.
Yeah.
Like your body isn't compartmentalized. Everything is connected. People think, oh, if you have a problem in the liver and this and that. No, everything's connected. So, yeah, especially for Candida bacteria, it's definitely systemic. And men tend to get it on their toes a lot. To get fungus on their toes, but yeah.
I've never had a thing with athlete's foot, so that's something that, like, the whole white tongue thing definitely took me by surprise. But I think it's something that I had without knowing it even before veganism. It's just that veganism made it so bad that it became noticeable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thank veganism for that.
It happens to me too. It's very common.
Rocco, he said, "Let me say, I love the vegans. They're such geniuses. They think that they're so many steps ahead of us, and they're so far behind." He goes, "Let me say it again. Drew quit veganism to heal gut issues and is on carnivore still suffering from gut issues." Like, okay, first of all, respond? You can respond, absolutely.
So obviously, like, specific, we're not saying like a carnivore diet is going to heal everything, it's the cure all, blah 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 blah. But you back to the root cause. If the root cause was your diet, if your diet was causing these issues, then you have to change the diet so that you don't have to keep having that root issue come up. So you change the diet first, and then you fine tune with supplements to make sure that the damage that was done is cleared up.
Now, my public theory for my own issues is the fact that when I was a kid, I had all the things that fuck your digestive system up. I had tons of rounds of antibiotics when I was a kid. Like, and I also had asthma and an inhaler, which is also bad for candida overgrowth and things like that. So, okay, so he wants to promote his channel. That's why he's such a loudmouth. That's what's funny. So, no, we're not going to watch your channel, bro. Save your vegan bullshit, dude. Anyway, so I think that I messed myself up with antibiotics, and then the vegan diet exacerbated the problem. That's my opinion on it. And of course, the carnivore diet hasn't healed it, but it's made the symptoms so livable that if I wanted to, I could just go 100% carnivore and I would probably forget about it. But I want to fix the root cause, like you said, and I want to be resilient to eating plants if I want to, you know?
Yeah. And like there's been studies that show that candida can survive like ketosis. It can survive a ketogenic diet and stuff like that because it's a fungus. So, you know, these bacteria, they're resilient. They find out how to survive. They can survive pretty much no matter what. But that's why you go in and fine tune things and you take certain supplements that are going to kill off this bacteria. And you're always going to have some level of candida or some level of bad bacteria in your body. But it's the diet, it's the environment that's going to keep it, you know, neutral, keep it at bay.
Yeah, and I also have a theory, and this I love vegans trying to roast me. Drew says this. It's like, yes, and I'm open about the fact that this is my theory. I'm not saying that this is a fucking scientific fact, but when it comes to Sibo, yes, I do think the vegan diet causes Sibo. This is why, guys. Your colon has a bunch of bacteria in it. When you're eating a ton of fiber, you know those giant logs that you guys dump out in the toilet 3 times a day? Those 14-inch logs? Here's the deal. That is literally backing up to your small intestine. There's an ileocecal valve, right?
Keeping it open.
Keeping it open.
Yeah.
Well, it's like simple logistics, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
Think about that one.
Well, because you have like, you know, the peristaltic action that goes through the whole digestive system. It's literally a muscle that pinches off, closes, pinches off. Like that's how it pushes things through.
Yes.
You're stuffed with fiber. What the hell is it going to pinch? Like it literally can't do anything. That's what I felt like. I felt like my colon just shut down. There was my peristalsis. I literally couldn't feel it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden one day, like a 14-inch log would just come out. Yep. And I'd have such relief, but then it's like, okay, back to square one where I'm stuffing myself with more fiber and then waiting for this 14-inch log to come out.
And it's gross, like it's gross to talk about, but it's so key to the whole bullshit of the vegan diet. And it's so funny. I talked to this guy who's a cyclist in Hawaii, and you know, cyclists, they're burning a lot of calories, so they need to eat an extraordinarily large amount of calories. And obviously, as a vegan, you're eating like 3 times the volume of a normal person to begin with. So imagine being a cyclist now. So you're eating like, 10 pounds of food a day or something. And he's like, dude, the way I feel like my digestion works is that it's completely full, start to finish. And when I smash down food, that's what puts the Play-Doh out the other end. And he's not wrong. That's just the way that it works.
Yeah.
You know, and people trip out on the vegan diet because they're like, on the carnivore diet, they're like, you poop every 5 days, and they love to hold me to this thing. It's like, well, I wonder how stretched out my colon is from the vegan fiber. I'm sure I can hold a lot more in there than the average person. That's probably why I only have to go every 5 days. Oh, man.
Yeah. You're absorbing more. Like, if you don't poop as much going from a vegan diet to a carnivore diet, it's because, one, you're absorbing more and you're not eating fiber. So you don't have all this plant matter to push out. Like things that are coming out have not been fully absorbed.
Correct. And that's
it's useless to you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, go look at the toilet paper, guys. Like that. So I was going to ask about that too, because we know that basically stool by weight is approximately 50% bacteria. And is it natural for poop to float or should it sink? What do you think?
All those are signs of what's going on. So if it is floating, it's usually like fat malabsorption. If it's yellow, it's usually fat malabsorption. So you definitely something's going on with your bile, your gallbladder, your liver there, as far as bile, which is definitely something that happens in end stage veganism because bile is made from cholesterol. So eating cholesterol strengthens your bile, and eating fat. So the liver makes it, but the gallbladder stores it. When you eat a fatty meal, the gallbladder will secrete a large amount to help emulsify and digest that fat. So if you are not eating fat, you are either your bile is either going to be backed up or it's going to start, I always say this, going into hibernation. Even your stomach acid a lot of the times. So in end stage veganism, digestion just shuts down. Stomach acid is, not being produced as much. Bile is not being produced as much. And you have so much fiber. A lot of this fiber is using up your digestive enzymes to kind of help break things down and get nutrients out of it. So it's definitely taxing on the digestive system long term. But yeah, poop shows you pretty much everything that's going on with your digestive system.
Is there any way, is there ever a case where floating poop is okay?
How much is it floating though? A little bit is normal, but like completely floating, no.
See, the way that I look at it is like, if it sinks like a rock, then it must have a lot of water in it, meaning that the colon did not have time to absorb a lot of the liquid out of it. And if it's just like, if it's sinking like that, then to me, it seems like it didn't have enough time in the colon. You know what I'm saying?
Have you heard of the Bristol stool chart?
Yes. Is it like that picture where it's like 7 stages of poop? It looks like the guy from
I don't know if you want to pull it up, but it shows pretty much like a healthy poop and what's not a healthy poop. Obviously, take into consideration like carnivores. There's obviously fiber in this poop, so it's going to be a little bit different, but you can tell if you have a lot of like hard, just little, that's it.
Here we go. So stage 1, let's see if we can blow it up a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I don't know, it's backwards on the screen though.
Is it?
Yeah.
You guys able to see that? I hope so.
Well, the bottom and the top are obviously the opposite ends of the spectrum, where you have diarrhea and extreme constipation, and somewhere in the middle, so the soft snake looking one and then the softer one with kind of lines on it, those are normal. Obviously diarrhea is not normal and extreme constipation is not normal. But then when you get into a little bit more of the detail, so the floating is usually fat malabsorption. And people usually notice a difference when they start taking bile supplements. So when you start digesting and emulsifying fat better, then it strengthens your bile and you won't need the bile supplements eventually.
See, I felt like as a vegan, it was more like number 4, but it was so ridiculously like quick moving through the system that it didn't have time to fully digest.
And that's why, like, take this chart obviously with a grain of salt because there's different factors. But the same thing happened to me where it was like number 4, but it was 5 times as long as that and painful. It just felt like I was
pain, I
constantly
guess.
full.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Like, I never had issues in terms of pain on the way out as a vegan, but definitely I had all the other symptoms of like it was moving through the system too quickly, and it was just kind of like always a mess. It was never a clean situation. Then if you eat a banana that's like one day too unripe, then you're constipated the next day, and it totally sucked. You're always just like trying to play this perfect little balance game between eating too much, eating too little, having gas, all those stuff.
Yeah, Carnival says the chart is flawed. Yeah, I agree. Like if you're eating a carnivore diet, it kind of doesn't really apply because those pictures, there's obviously fiber in those poops, but
Right.
you can feel, and I tell people that like constipation is more inflammation than it is a lack of fiber. And
Hmm.
often if people are constipated, fiber makes it completely worse. Like taking those psyllium husk supplements and all that, that's not a good idea if you're constipated at all. Just going to blow the colon up
Yeah.
and make it worse. So the only way that I would kind of say constipation is if your colon is inflamed, if it can't do what it needs to do, that's constipation.
Yeah.
Hemorrhoids, all of that, that's constipation, not a lack of fiber necessarily.
The only issue that I've had in terms of constipation, uh, other than eating unripe bananas in my life, is eating um, ultra pasteurized milk on OMAD because I was doing one meal a day, so there's very little food flowing through the system to begin with, and I was drinking ultra pasteurized milk with no fiber in the system, and
Yeah.
that was very, 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 very bad. I do not recommend anybody doing that, and we don't need to get into details, but I can
Yeah.
almost guarantee you would have the same situation.
I can't do pasteurized milk. I thought I had like a dairy allergy or I was lactose intolerant because I had such severe reactions to pasteurized milk and
Yeah.
cheese. I would get cysts on my face, on my chest, on my back. I would have severe like bowel inflammation. Raw milk does not do that to me whatsoever.
Yeah, raw milk is fantastic. It's like as if I was eating meat basically. There's
Yeah.
no reaction whatsoever and it tastes so good. It's just expensive for me
Yeah.
here. You're up in Canada. I don't know if it's a little different there. You guys probably have some better access.
No, it's actually illegal in Canada, but
Wow.
I'm back and forth between New York and Canada.
Mm.
So when I'm in New York, and I spent 3 months there, so I could specifically like have access to raw dairy and heal my gut because there's no raw dairy in Canada.
They sell milk
And
in bags in Canada, right?
yeah,
How do you
but
feel about that?
it's pasteurized.
Uh,
I mean, plastic is not really a
that's
good.
what I was getting at. Like, do you feel like the plastic seeps in or is there any like taste difference?
I haven't tasted bagged milk since I was like 15, so I don't really remember.
Mm.
Taste difference, probably not so much. I know there's stricter laws in Canada on the dairy than there is in the US, but it's still pasteurized at the end of the day. Um, but pasteurization destroys the enzymes, it destroys the bacteria, and that's what's helping you digest the milk. So if
Mm.
the enzymes aren't present, you can't digest it. Um, but the raw milk was probably and raw yogurt, kefir, stuff like that, that helped my digestion immensely.
How do
I
you
would
feel about
highly
colostrum?
recommend it. I tried it once. It definitely is beneficial. I don't know if you've heard of the book, The Raw Milk Cure.
I have not.
It's definitely beneficial, but it's just expensive, and I would just rather eat yogurt.
So I've kind of brought up as much stuff as I can think of today. Unless you have some other stuff, I guess we should go to the chat. Maybe we can spend a few minutes with them. What do you think?
Yeah, if they have any last questions they want to ask. Someone said, buy yourself a few goats. Yeah, my parents actually just bought a farm, so I'm trying to convince them to buy some goats. But the laws are so strict in Canada, the milk can't leave your property, the raw milk.
Mm.
Like you have to consume it on your property for it to be legal. Yeah,
The milk police, they're going to arrest you.
it's crazy how cigarettes are legal and raw milk isn't. It shows you,
That's a good point.
it shows you how much they care about our health, you know?
My brother, luckily he lives down the street from me, but the guy he's renting his place from, he has chickens on his property. So I'm gonna send him with a little 12 pack of eggs, the crate, and I'm gonna have him fill it up. Okay, bye
Yeah.
Marielle. See ya. Have a good day. Thanks for showing up and hanging out. Let's see.
I get this all the time. So people comment this on my channel all the time. I have no energy. I sound tired. This is my voice, guys. Like I'm not fake. Like hi, how are you? Like no, I'm not
She's a
putting
real one,
on
guys. She's from East Coast. She'll slap you.
I'm not putting on the fake vegan voice for YouTube. Like just deal with it.
Any questions, guys, for Megan? ask Megan questions, guys, because I'm gonna probably do a little outro after we finish up, and then you guys can, hose me down with whatever you want after that. So keep it towards Megan for now. Can certain nuts like macadamia cause constipation? I think all nuts cause constipation, personally.
I haven't eaten nuts since I gave up veganism, so I haven't really noticed that. Someone says idea on vitamin C. Bart says it is very bad. I haven't heard him talk about it, so I can't really comment on that. Vitamin C can be very beneficial for certain things. It helps heal tissue. So, I mean, obviously Bart is more well versed on the science than I am, but what do you think about the vegan company Vivo Life? I haven't tried it, but it's definitely being pushed by a lot of people.
Yeah, there's big money going on here, guys. Like these supplement brands. I mean, what's different about them versus any other whey protein brand? Like they're doing the exact same model. I don't know who owns Vivo Life, but like it wouldn't even surprise me if they weren't even a vegan person or anything like that. Like it's just huge money at this point.
Yeah, someone says, are you pretty much okay now? As far as my diet, yes. It took me about 5 months to be able to handle eating, a vegetable here and there or a treat here and there, but I'm finally good. And my back pain, I suffered with severe back pain. It's pretty much gone completely. I only notice some problems if I am not eating enough.
Yeah, I
Because
had
I
a
feel
go for it.
I feel so full now. Like I don't really think about food anymore that I have to actually be like, oh, okay, it's time to eat again. I need some food.
Most of the time I'm that way unless I start getting too much on carbs. Like if I start having carbs with multiple meals in a row, then I'm like ready for that next meal. But I'm also kind of cutting as well. CMC, I'll get to, if you're still hanging out, I'll talk more about the cut afterwards. But like yesterday was one of the days I had a workout and then I got to the event, that baby shower. And then right when I got there, I just smashed so much food. I couldn't wait. But usually I'm chilling.
I went a little crazy for Easter dinner and I was fine.
Someone says that vegan foot soldier now has gains. Really? I got you. I got to see that. Send me a link. I don't believe it. That guy's a freaking scarecrow, dude.
Megan, do you want a homestead in the future? Yes.
Really? That's in your future?
Yeah. Maybe not near in the future, but eventually. I think that if you don't have, some kind of source of your own food, you're going to be in trouble because the way that the industry is going, the way that the industry is right now, as far as the food quality, and that's why people don't understand that they're reacting so heavily to plant foods as well now because of the industry practices. Even organic is corrupted and they're not necessarily using organic fertilizer and things like that. So
Dan the Man, Life Regener refused to put meat and dairy in the list of bad foods despite the insistence of delusional friend Polar Rock Christina. Okay, well, maybe you need to follow up that comment with some more interesting information because I think it was about half the comment that you wanted to explain there. We need to see this foot soldier thing. Soon I'm going to have a setup where I'm going to be able to share a video with volume to my viewer or to my like Megan right now, but I don't have it set up yet, guys. Me and Tristan have been working on this for like the past week, so it's going to be set up. It's going to be dope, and then we can do like live critiques where I can play a video on YouTube, and then you and I can both see it and both hear it. It's going to be very exciting. Let's see. So is there any other last things that you have like in terms of health that you want to straighten out, or are you pretty much like perfect? What do you think?
I wouldn't say perfect. I think it's constantly there's so many other factors to health, the environment, the air, all those things are definitely affecting artificial light, all that stuff. So in this day and age, I think it's kind of hard to have perfect health because you're constantly being bombarded. Wi-Fi, all of these things affect you. So what I would say is that I can now handle things like I think that animal products are extremely protective. So I don't know if you experienced this on a vegan diet, but I couldn't handle anything. I couldn't handle stress. I couldn't
Mm.
handle, having a treat. I couldn't handle nothing. So now that I switched my diet, I noticed that the only thing that was keeping me being healthy on a standard American diet still was the animal products. They're very protective as far as detoxing, as far as healing. This whole craze that you have to drink green juice every day to detox is ridiculous, because the most important thing for your liver would be animal protein and eating liver.
Mm.
Your liver needs amino acids to detox, and they're not found in green juice. So
Yeah, I definitely had issues with healing. Like small injuries wouldn't heal for years, literally years.
yeah.
And
Janine
now they
says
heal in months.
my stress level is near zero for months and months. Yeah, I was so stressed for no reason on a vegan diet. Like, I was constantly on edge and everything was bothering me. I was hard to deal with, and now I'm so chill.
Yeah, this isn't low energy, guys. This is somebody who has their sanity. This is a normal person. Jesus.
I'm so used to like the craziness now.
Okay, they say that a vegan foot soldier gained 6 kilograms of mass. Interesting. Okay, cool. I'm gonna watch that. We'll cover that afterwards, I guess, because unfortunately she won't be able to see the video or hear it, so it's not fun.
I don't even watch him.
I don't either, but
Like,
he annoys me just by looking at him. Anyway, so somebody said that, what about calf cramps? Have you had anything like that on a carnivore diet? Cramping?
me, no.
Muscle cramping, I guess.
But I noticed the more meat that I eat, the more salt that I need.
Okay. The more meat that you eat, the more salt that you need?
Yeah.
What you said? Okay. Yeah, I definitely salt my food. I definitely notice that consuming salt water, if I'm like going into an extreme fasting state, definitely helps. Electrolytes definitely become a thing on carnivore. Like, you're just not holding on to a lot of water, therefore you're not holding on to a lot of extra electrolyte reserves. So that might be the issue that you're experiencing there. I think Lily posted that, and then maybe one other person earlier. So definitely try having more salts. It also helps with your sea salt. Yeah, I also recommend sea salt. That's what I've been doing with water. But you get almost like dizzy if you're fasting too much and you're playing around with this stuff and you're on like a severe weight cut. There's these little things that you have to pay for. You're not as alert, you're not as sharp, you don't feel as strong. So
Yeah.
let's see. So anyways, I don't want to keep you here too long. Feel free to cut us off whenever, Megan. I do appreciate you coming by today.
I think that was good. I didn't even realize how long it was.
Yeah, an hour and a half flies by, and I like to keep my things like an hour and a half, because then we can let we don't go too long that way. We can have you on again soon, and we don't have to blow everything out. Keep them wanting a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
It's always great to discuss this stuff.
Yes, I'll have to follow you on. Do you use what's your best way to contact you for just direct communication?
You can email me, or you can just DM me on Instagram. Both of those, cool. I respond pretty fast too. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I've got several people talking shit to me on Instagram. I can't look at that right now because it will distract me. Drew, you're so full of shit. I just was like, okay, I'm gonna have to just turn my phone off. But anyways, all right. It was a pleasure talking to you. Great to meet you. And we got so much good information out today. Thank you for being willing to talk about the gross subjects because I know people are going to probably make clips of that and it's going to be everywhere, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
I have to talk about it with my clients. I'm over it. If you're an adult and you can't talk about poop, you need to figure out your life.
Figure out your life, people. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you, Megan. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya. Okie dokie, guys. Let's watch the this is the view we need here. Physique update. Let's go. Vegan foot soldier. We're gonna watch it. Don't trip. Don't trip, Gung Fu. We're gonna watch it. Okay, let me try and catch up with the chat a little bit. Holy moly. Okay. We're not too far back. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat with Meghan. She's super chill and awesome. Somebody's saying she's low energy. That's so stupid. Somebody low energy is somebody who does a lot of they're slow to think. Like, she's constantly on point, guys. Just because she doesn't talk all crazy like she's on caffeine pills and she's on sugar, woo, doesn't mean that she's low energy. Okay? People talking about foot soldiers gains. This video sounds hype, guys. I'm a little pumped for this. Somebody earlier asked, how many grams of fiber should you eat if you were vegan, have a messed up digestive system, and are suffering with yeast infections every month? That was probably more towards Meghan, and she would probably be better to answer that, Jordan, if you're still here. But honestly, as a vegan, I think actually, was it Brian Turner that just released a low fiber, high protein diet plan the other day, a video on it? I would go check that out. I would definitely recommend eating a low fiber diet as a vegan if you can. It's very hard to do, and your options are going to be limited as fuck. Drew dreams about having gains like vegan foot soldier. Somebody was asking about my steroid cycle. I can't disclose that on YouTube. That's the $100 Patreon tier where I share my entire steroid stack. How to become 145 pounds at 10% body fat, 5 feet 10 inches tall. It's a lifelong journey to get to where I'm at. Veganism obviously helped me to get to this stage. The meat is probably holding me back, to be honest with you guys. Psych, bitches. Yeah, that's a Durian Rider source. By the way, we're gonna have a Durian Rider. We're gonna have a Durian Rider interview again soon. This next week, either Friday or Saturday. CMC, where are you? I need to see life from you in the chat immediately. CMC, Charles Marlowe, where are you? Yeah, we're going to have a follow-up with Durian Rider. He hit me up yesterday in the DMs. He slid right in. The vegans love me, guys. They fucking love me. They hate hard. And then they hit me up in the DMs. Drew, I want to hang out. Please. I'm hiding the roids, dude. Oh, CMC is the best homeless YouTuber. Got to give that guy credit, guys. He's literally he's literally living a reporter lifestyle. Like, he's in the news van constantly. I needed to respond to him. He was asking me how the cut's going. Agreed, dude. That guy's working all day long. The cut is going good. I'm basically just right at 145 pounds. I'm eating, high protein. I'm eating lower calories. I'm walking every day. I'm getting leaner slowly but surely. I'm not doing it in any aggressive way. Obviously, yesterday, like I said, I ate a bunch of crap food and beer and stuff like that. But Humberto, no, I don't speak Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish. My family's Cuban, so I speak like decent Spanish. Why are you super pissed at CMC? Yeah, CMC is definitely fake news a lot of the time. He gets shit wrong all of the time. All of the time. Pretty funny, though. He's still super funny. I mean, if you're watching CMC for real entertainment, like, here's the thing, though. If you're in his position and you're just throwing shit at the wall, some of it's going to stick, and some of it is true. So, even if you're only half right, it gets people thinking, and it gets people to start admitting things that they wouldn't otherwise talk about. He gets people's feathers all ruffled, and then they feel the need to, like, respond, or they slip up. You know what I'm saying? They slip up. All right, let's watch this video. I'm going to be pissed if this has any music in it that's copywritten, because I got screwed with that on my last 4-hour interview I did the other day where Vegan Gains showed up at the end. Yeah, CMC. He takes random comments that he gets and he makes a video about it. He shouldn't do that. I would urge him. All right, cool. Thanks, Carnival. I would urge him not to do that. That's some shitty reporting, in my opinion. People make the wackiest shit up online, and you literally have no idea who they are or what their connection to the person is. And I have some juicy stuff that I could reveal as well, regarding some people that you guys have heard about, but I'm not there yet. This person agrees to be fucking slapped around, though. I tell you that much right now. Jasmine, are you and Elise officially a couple or just friends with benefits? First of all, if we were just friends with benefits, I wouldn't admit to that. Foot soldier shows his nips. All right, we'll see if I have to pull the nips out. It won't be that hard in this shirt. All right, let's watch the video.
It's been a while, so just to give some background information, last summer, 2018, I was riding my bike almost every day when I moved to Girona. I moved to Girona so I could ride my bike up mountains, and my local mountain, which I rode almost every day if I didn't...
I saw that video where he rode like some bicycle up this hill, and he's like, see, I'm a vegan, I could ride my bike up the hill. It's like, kids ride bicycles all over the place. They're not bragging about how they rode up a small hill on a regular bicycle. The gun show's at 740. I'm actually interested to see what he's training.
The bigger ride was 400, approximately 400 meters elevation, and it was like, I think it was 15 kilometers, the ride.
These little skinny vegans.
Mountain,
they're cyclists, you know? The sport that requires zero power whatsoever.
My daily ride with a bit more, probably my daily ride would have been by default.
I used to think I was so badass as a cyclist, and then my brother buys my bicycle from me, and he fucking smokes my ass on my own bicycle within a couple months of training, and all he does is ride for an hour at lunchtime, and he eats like the most random omnivorous diet, has a couple drinks per week, and he just completely crushes my time. That's the vegan diet versus the omnivore diet.
Elevation by the time it was all told on Strava.
Oh, cyclists are so narcissistic.
Sort of my cheeky local climb, and I would often go down to Banyoles and do Roca Corba, which was like 1,000 meters elevation, just that climb. And then added on like going around all the amazing scenery.
See, this is again, guys. I brought up this topic with Vegan Gains, the notion of unethical veganism. And this guy right here is so crazy that he would take steroids, not tell you about it. He would get swole as fuck on eating whatever, bananas. And then he would promote it as if the vegan diet did that. And then he accomplished it all because of the vegan diet by lifting some weights. And he wouldn't tell you about the steroid usage. I'm not saying he did that. I haven't even seen his body yet. But he would do something like that because it's in the name of ethical veganism. That's what these little YouTube cult people do.
To Banyoles.
These people don't hold up in real life. You show up in real life to these people and you talk to them in person, and they're the people you don't want to be around in person. They're the people who are like, they got no personality. They got basically their thought process and the way that they logically think about things is just so off base. They're not the people that you want to actually spend time around. Again, I don't know a lot about him, but that's what I've seen in a lot of cases.
That was, I don't know what that was exactly, but it was...
There's somebody I really want to talk about, but I can't right now.
Maybe more, like 1,400 or something meters elevation on that one ride, and it was saying like 60 or 70 kilometers. And I'll do that at least once a week.
Okay, so 58 kilometers, that's about, I don't know, 40 miles or so, 30-something miles, 1,200 meters of elevation, that's like 3,600 feet. Yeah, I used to do rides like this all the time, just like this, same elevation, everything.
So I was riding like thousands of meters of elevation a week, and just hundreds of kilometers.
Do I think hench herbivore is on steroids? Yes, 100%. 100%.
on my bike a week, and I was mainly
He
just
has
eating fruit at
the
that
giant
time, because
round
it was summer, it
gorilla
was hot.
tits,
I was just loving the watermelon,
which only steroid people get.
Watermelons there in Catalonia were so nice.
And he actually has traps and shoulders, which vegans fail to gain. So
organic local watermelons there, which were like really nice, and if they weren't local to Catalonia, they were like local to Spain, so sort of like national product. And so I was just loving the watermelon.
TRT.
And the fruit. So
He's admitted to TRT.
Cycling my ass off. So we all know that I had a good time, but we all know what happens when you do that. Despite it being fun, you just shed off all of your body
soap on
fat,
slope, you're right.
You just like strip off all of your muscle and become very thin. So that's the thinnest that I'd been. Like one of the, I'd say that's probably the thinnest I'd been in my adult life. Well, actually, he did that after, but I ended up in that video anyway.
Look at that.
And
you guys see
at
that?
that point, so the end of August, I was like, I'm probably going to try and put on some muscles. And just in case you don't stick around until the end of the video where I talk about my genetics, I'm an extreme ectomorph.
Same as me. I'm also an ectomorph, guys. So, let's see how me and Vegan Foot Soldier compare. And I could probably bust out pictures of myself when I was 18 years old and show you guys how I looked. I was 123 pounds, 5 feet 10 inches tall, skin and bones, like so skinny, dude.
To gain muscle, and I've never.
I look like
successfully
end stage
gained
vegan
muscle before in my entire life.
Before I ever
All
hit the
my
gym.
Previous attempts at going to the gym.
All right.
Out Girona. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing with
Whoa.
stuff like that. To you.
Whoa.
So now let's see the physique reveal.
Whoa.
Okay, let's do it.
These are the gains? These are the gains? These are the gains? What the fuck? I am super speechless. I totally thought there was going to be like a transformation. I was going to have to eat some words here. Okay, so he went from broomstick arm to broomstick plus a little bit of pudge. You can even see that he's gained a stomach. Like he has this V-line taper here when he's completely skinny with his ribs. And here he has no taper.
I don't really know.
I'm even pausing it in good spots for him. He lost his taper here. His ribs are slightly less pronounced.
I know what I'm doing with
and he's obviously got this little like roundy belly here. I have to say his shoulders look better. But and he looks like he has a tiny bit of like outline definition on his chest.
Like the angles and
Oh. Bro.
Again, I don't really know what I'm doing with flexing and stuff like that.
You don't need to know what you're doing with flexing. You just need to have a fucking muscle to flex, bro. It's pretty obvious. Let me hit the angles. Let me hit the angles. There's not an angle or lighting in the world that's going to save you, buddy. What the hell? I'm genuinely shocked right now.
What you're supposed to do, but
how long has this been? How many months? First of all, how do you have chest hair on your... How does his chest hair start above his chest?
You can see...
That's crazy. Oh, thank you, Lozzie, for the 5 buckaroos. Vegan delusion is real. He's basically got a fruitarian body. Oh, this is a fruitarian body, 100%. This is like a zero gains. I literally think these people are so delusional in their mind that they're so skinny that when they see like other people that are tiny, see, it's like a thing that happens in the gym. When the first day that you step in the gym, people look jacked. And then you start putting on a little weight, you start getting a little stronger, you start kind of comparing yourself to them and you start getting bigger. And then over a couple months period, they are not so big anymore. That they actually like, they look smaller to you and you look more like the same. It's something that happens. The lower neck hair. Holy shit. Okay, let's keep
See
watching.
that I'm bigger. Basically, I look a bit bigger.
I look a bit bigger. 6 months? 6 months? Holy shit. I need to like share. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can pull up a picture and show you guys on the camera where I was at. Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm pulling it up on my phone. All right, let me see if I can zoom in on this. He started training September 2018, so like 7-8 months ago. What? Holy shit. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Can you guys see this? Hopefully it's kind of clear. It's okay. All right. There's like it honestly looks better than it does on my phone in this shitty view here. But that was December 21st. That was only 4.5 months ago. Or sorry, 3.5 months ago. 3.5 months ago. No, 4 months ago. Exactly 4 months ago. This is not about being gorgeous. This is about just straight up talking about gains, dude. Like, gains are objective, right? Like you either make fucking progress or you don't. And so this is from yesterday. Right? Like, it's from yesterday. No gym, no protein powder, nothing. So, and by the way, I'm the same body weight. I'm the same body weight. If I wanted to put on body weight, I could. I'm not doing that right now. I'm sure this guy is trying his hardest to gain anything anywhere. If I wanted to just like start stacking on muscle right now and size, that's what I would do. I would just start eating more calories, a little more protein, and I would stop walking every day. Right now, I'm trying to actually lose body fat. Okay, let's keep going. I guess let's keep this charade up. This is terrible.
I don't know.
You want to see today without a pump? Okay, fuck it. No pump. We woke up like this. Someone said I look fat. I feel fat, man. I'm trying to lose weight because I'm trying to lose this. That's it. I want to get that out of there. That's it. Once that's gone and it's just straight shred city, then we're going to start packing on the muscle again. But I don't want to get any smaller than where I'm at right now, which is 145. My nipples were like super like oval shaped. Look, let's hear. I've got a great idea. Let's do this. Let's pull up my... Someone was making fun of me for my man boobies back here. Another video. Here we go. Let's share this screen here. This is me. This is me at the very end of September. So there you go. Perfect. September 2018. Just like Foot Soldier, right? So there, look at that shit. Like full on, like soft, tiny, like arms, slopey shoulders. I had already been carnivore here for a month, and I was consistently working out, by the way. Consistently working out. Just a little soft, you know, real soft. I even shaved my chest to really see what was going on underneath. If I shave my chest now, it would show a little bit more definition. That's just what you do when you want to see. But look at the little oval shape, little nipples, little boobies. All right. And I'm glad that I have these like catalogs of myself, because it's just, yeah. You were better as a vegan, Drew. I have people come onto my Instagram all the time, and they're like telling me that I looked healthier as a vegan. I look better as a vegan. It's so funny. It's so funny. Delusional people, man. Straight up delusional. It's almost like a mental disorder. Anyway, so let's go back to this thing.
I don't know how to objectively measure anything. You can see that I've got more pecs.
He's got more
biceps
pecs.
Are bigger.
His biceps are bigger.
See if I can flex my triceps or something.
Flex them, baby. Ooh.
And in terms of
killing them.
Weight, I've gained approximately 6 kilograms. So I'm now.
This is a 12-pound gain right here. This is a 13-pound difference. Holy shit. You guys saw my video, my thing. I haven't even gained a pound. That's the same weight, by the way. I'm at the same body weight. I look a little different now. This dude gained 12 pounds and he looks basically the same. This is what happens with a vegan gains. You put on weight. You don't put on muscle. All right? So you always look the same. You're just in a ratio. You're a slightly bigger version of yourself. You're a slightly smaller version of yourself. And I do wonder what he was doing to eat. I'm sure he talks about it, but I don't want to watch the whole video.
As I explained in the video where I said I'm going to start going to the gym last year, I actually lost weight during last summer because I was cycling so much. So I dipped down to about 60 kilograms last summer, but that was actually...
Yeah, so when you're underweight, like, and you eat a bunch of protein, like let's say you went straight to animal foods, and you were lifting and stuff like that, you're going to make huge gains. That's what happened to me when I was 18 years old. I was 123 pounds. As soon as I went to the gym and I started working out, I gained 30 pounds in 3 months. 30 pounds in 3 months. I went from 123 to 153. Now, I wasn't doing carnivore back then. I was eating 5 times a day, and I was eating meal replacements and all kinds of stuff, but I didn't gain a bunch of fat at all. I gained almost all muscle mass. Should bring up pictures of that. Let me see. Let's see if I can find something like that. Dig through the old phone archives here. I should do like a video where I just basically talk about my past. Like, my 20s are an interesting time. Give people a little bit of a perspective of like the health issues that I experienced. Stuff like that. I know I have pictures of this on my phone. My change. God, my vegan body was disgusting. I hate it. I just got so flat and soft. I lost all muscle. Okay, here we go. I look like vegan foot soldier, basically. Here, I'm going to share the screen here. All right, so this is 18 years old, 123 pounds. All right. Here's another angle of it. Look at that. Like, literally skin and bones. Look how tiny my arm is. My chest is like caving in. Okay. Here's the double bicep flex for you from when I was that age. So when people talk about, you got to always take into consideration where people started from. So he wants to talk about an ectomorph. I was there. I know exactly what it's like to be an ectomorph. Right? So I'm not hating on this guy because he's an ectomorph. I'm just saying he's not eating the right foods. And here we go. I'm going to show you guys what I look like. This is literally 3 months later. 3 months later. 18 years old. 3 months. Animal products. Animal foods. 153 pounds right there. What are you saying, Dragon? Get on what? You're talking too much. You want me to play the video? Hold on, dude. We got plenty of time. And here's the side angle here. That was 3 months after I showed you those little skinny pictures of me. So, that's the difference. All right, let's go back to the video, I guess. He wants to see him bench press. Okay, fine. I'm not really interested in making fun of this guy, actually. It's not even a shock. Like, we could sit here and make fun of him, but is that going to really do anything? Wait, is he training with hench herbivore?
So bad that I'd probably... I'd gained a bit of muscle, definitely.
And he's training with hench herbivore.
And you could see in my hench herbivore vlog that I actually
Dragon, gotcha.
Did look like noticeably bigger. So I wasn't just doing nothing, but my form was way off.
Hip drive. 1, 2, 3, 40. Let's see them gains.
Making gains.
And so anyway, the whole of January, so half of December and the whole of January and much of February, I didn't have a...
Okay, so he actually didn't train the whole time. So he's saying he went to the gym 2-3 times.
Trying to relocate.
I want to be fair here,
Here to Granada, where I am now.
I want to compare.
I didn't have a house then.
Okay, started at the gym clueless, routine from hench,
first got my
bad
house.
form.
My house, I think it was...
Moved out from Girona,
So
Spain.
as of March, my rent contract started. So half of December...
Okay, so March is when he really started. And then this video was released yesterday.
All of January, all of February...
So he's really only been making gains for 2 months.
I didn't regularly go to the gym. I only went a couple of times. Okay,
all right.
The nose.
All right,
yeah,
it's slightly more
so you can
acceptable.
Spot, because Vegetable Police has done this as well. When Vegetable Police wanted to sort of say, this is...
But yeah, you can see he's starting to gain that little lower belly pouch. That little insulin fruit belly.
What I looked like before, and this is what I look like now on my new gimmick diet that I've been on for a week. Wow, look at the results. Then what it will do, it will do soft lighting before and then hard lighting after, and all this sort of stuff. It's pretty funny, and that it will consistently change the...
Hey, you guys called me out, told me to show the difference in my room. I have terrible lighting in here. No excuses. I didn't touch the light switch. Shirt straight off. Flex for the camera. No pump. No warm-up, nothing. So that's the baseline.
The lighting, depending on his personal...
And I'm not anything special.
Portray. And
anybody could do what I've done in the last 3 to 4 months. By the way, all I've been doing is walking, doing calisthenics in my garage. That's it. No protein powder, 2 meals a day. I'm creating a system for regular people to follow where they can get good results and not have to give up their entire life to make it happen. That's what I'm interested in. I want to live a fun, normal life and not be in the gym 24/7.
Yeah, I've noticed that with Vegetable Police, with a few other people. A lot of these testimonial videos, where it's
any other videos that we should watch, guys? Post them up.
1 hour.
I'll do some more
in
critiques.
30 days or whatever. It will be
whatever you guys want to see. We'll check it out.
Diffuse lighting, after hard lighting. So yeah, let's see if I can get even more hard lighting.
Get some more lighting, bud. Get some more lighting. You need it.
Finally, okay. So
yikes.
This is a soft box, but without the diffused.
I'm sure hench herbivore, if he saw my video right now critiquing this, he'd be like, "Oh, that little skinny 145-pound man critiquing you."
Should be pretty hard.
man. Fuck.
I think you get the idea. I'm not very good at flexing. I don't really.
I mean, he says ultra extreme transformation. I know he's trolling, but damn, dude, that's just come on, dog. Come on, dog. Anyway, Jesus. This is what I always said about the vegans. They're always like, "Hey, look right there. That's a good little pose." But again, like he said, this is only 1 minute ago, so he's doing the good lighting here. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is what vegans used to say. Where do I get my protein from, bro? And then they would like flex their little peanut arm, their little pencil arm. So funny, man. Where do I? It's like, yeah, where are you getting your protein? That arm is tiny. It's dangerous. Careful. How long do you work out and how often? 4 to 5 days a week, 1 hour each day. And lately I've been walking about 20 to 45 minutes a day, depending on the day. Today, I don't have I'm not working out. So I'm going to walk for like an hour. You know what I mean? Because it's my off day. So I want to cut a lot of fat. And I'm just staying right at 145 pounds. Yeah, it's like you can be gym obsessed and you're going to get the crazy results. But what I'm interested in getting is getting like most of those results, as much results as possible without putting in the crazy effort. Like, doesn't that sound awesome to you guys? Like let's take somebody who looks awesome, Bobby's perspective. If you can get like 80 or 90% of Bobby's perspective results, but work out like 5 hours a week, that's it. That's pretty good. I mean, if you put in that double time, if you're putting in that 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week of work, like a lot of these guys are, and they're eating like crazy, they're like super strict with their diet, they're going to get that like extra tier of results, Like the difficulty that it takes to get the results that somebody like Bobby has from like 90% of the results that he has, like that last 10%, that is where the hardcore effort comes in, Yeah, Salome, I don't have much fat left at all. I'm not really worried. I'm not fat. I don't think I'm fat. I just have a little bit of that last bit of skin and I just want to get rid of that. And my theory is that once I get rid of that, then I can start bulking again, or eating, in a caloric surplus, obviously from animal foods and things like that, trying to keep it clean. And I can just start gradually increasing my weight, which I've already proven that I can do on a carnivore-esque diet, on 2 meals a day, which I feel very good doing this. And then basically I'm going to slowly raise my my muscle mass up while keeping the body fat the exact same. That's what I want to do. I have already been up to 150 pounds on 2 meals a day carnivore, eating just a slightly higher amount of meat and a little bit more milk. Right now I've cut the milk out so that I'm now down about 600 calories on the average day. I eat the same amount of meat and I'm also walking. So I'm doing all of my workouts and my walking fasted as well, just so you know. It's helping to cut off that last little bit. It's just chipping away. Every day I'm chipping away at the fat. And I'm not perfect either. Some days, like, yesterday I probably drank about 9 beers. I had like a sandwich for lunch. I had cheese rolls with salami and all kinds of stuff. I wasn't worried about what I was eating yesterday. And then I had Mexican food for dinner with chips and guacamole and rice and beans and all that stuff. But I digested it great. Honestly, these pills, guys, I think that they're helping me. I don't want to like oversell it too much right now because it's only a week in, but I'm starting to notice a little bit of a difference. I really shouldn't say anything because you know how it goes. Yeah, I like Discord. I've been using Discord for years. I would consider making a channel for sure. Yeah. I don't see the reason for it necessarily because it doesn't seem like there's that many people that have Discord that are like from the YouTube community, so it might be pointless. It's not really like it's more for gamers. Bobby's on gear, but nobody in the carnivore community wants to say. I don't think he's on gear. Bobby weighs like 160 pounds, 165 pounds, and he's like 5'11". It's like completely in the realm of natty. Not to mention that he used to be way bigger back in the day. He has a really old video on his channel where he talks about his bodybuilding past. I think he was like well over 200 pounds, like straight muscle mass. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's 180 pounds. I think he's lighter than that. Also, he puts in the work, man. He said as a vegan, he was working out 1 to 2 hours in the morning for like lightweight cardio. And then in the afternoon, he was doing his training sessions. He said he's 84 kg. Oh, I think that's new. Don't worry about these trolls, guys. Sanka, these trolls, I welcome them, man. Like, they're so basic, and they don't make me sweat at all. They shouldn't make you sweat either. Just ignore them. Not even worth banning them. Let them waste their fingers typing. There are vegan bodybuilders. Okay, cool. Thank you for that worthless piece of advice. The vegan bodybuilders they're cool. I got nothing against them. John Venus made a video yesterday talking about how his back is still fucked up. It's not healing. So, interesting. Somebody asked about Derek Simnett. I want to read their question. Forgot where it went. People always bring him up. And he's a good example of successful veganism, in my opinion, assuming he's not cheating, assuming he's not on steroids. I'd say he has very good results. And he's been doing it quite long term now. I don't know if it's going to work forever for him. Hey, Drew, what do you say to someone like Derek Simnett Nutrition, who clearly made some quality gains on a vegan diet? I have nothing to say to him. That's like, it's working for him. Great. Does it mean it's going to work for you? Probably not. Does it mean that it's going to be successful for him forever? Probably not. He still takes a lot of Evo Life protein powder. Let's see him make those gains on a whole foods, plant-based diet. He cannot do it. I guarantee that. I would probably be willing to bet money on that. All these guys, like even Vegan Gains the other day, tried to say that he doesn't take vegan protein powder even. He can make gains on a vegan diet. And it's so easy to get 160 grams or 180 grams of protein a day without protein supplements. These guys they're not being truthful with that. It's very, 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 very hard to get 180 grams of protein a day on a whole foods plant-based diet. Let's be super realistic here. Senka says, so you're admitting that you can be healthy and vegan, Drew? Yes, of course, especially short term. And what I mean by short term is like under 5 years. You can be pretty healthy. You can get away with it. Is it optimal? No. Will you be the best athlete you could be? No. Derek Simnett also supplements with creatine. There you go. It's a very important nutrient or nutrient that they're missing, that the vegans are missing, and makes a big difference for training. And guess what? You can't get creatine from plants. You can't make it either. Or can't make enough of it. Also, leucine is another issue on the vegan diet. You're not getting very much leucine, which, by the way, all the vegan protein powders have a heavy dosage of leucines in comparison to the rest of the amino acids. And without the vegan protein powders supplying the leucine, you probably wouldn't be making any gains at all. Vegan Gain says he takes some protein powders. He tried to make it sound like he eats them here and there. Not a big deal to him. He's trying to make it seem like. Yeah, vegan and bodybuilding does not mix well, I agree. You're just not going to make very much gains. Vegan Gains is gaining so much, he hasn't changed his profile picture in 5 years. I know. And me, on the other hand, I actually, the picture that's my avatar is I'm 138 pounds as a vegan. That picture is 3 years old already. Like, I could make a new picture today and I would look better than that picture, but I just don't really care. I look better now by far than that profile picture, whereas Vegan Gains is the opposite. Not hating. He came on my channel the other day. He was pretty respectful. I'm willing to have him on again anytime to discuss. I'm not going to be sitting here pulling peepees out and measuring, talking about studies. It's a waste of everybody's time. Haven't seen Vegan Gains take a shirt off in a long, long time. Senka says, I always get over 100% of my daily leucine intake from eating whole foods, plant-based carbs. Okay, so what's your leucine intake at? 1 gram? Is that your goal? Because you're not getting very much. I can assure you that. Such liars. See, people like this are so dishonest with their message. They're so... They swerve and duck and dive and they give you bad information. It's easy to get your leucine on day... No, it's not. No, it's not. Gregory asks, what is the problem with studies? I don't have a problem with studies. I have a problem with people not understanding that there's a limitation to studies, and they don't apply to everybody. Studies are about averages and not understanding the whole thing, and they're flawed, and there's money behind them, and there's, all kinds of other stuff. There's a lot wrong with studies. Perfect science in the perfect world would be great, but it doesn't exist. So there's always something wrong with a flawed study. Or there's always something flawed with a study you can pull out. I would recommend checking out Bart K's channel on somebody who just completely shreds studies from the vegan side. It's very, very good. Let's see. I hope you are all not as crazy as this guy. Who are you talking about? Me? Well, I don't think I'm crazy. I think I'm pretty normal. And again, I don't denounce studies. I don't say that they shouldn't be considered. I just don't want to debate with them. I'm not a scientist. Vegan Gains is not a scientist. I have more high-end math skills and training than Vegan Gains does. I don't think he went to college. I took statistics in college. I took college level calculus and finite statistics and finite math and stuff like that. So, technically I'd be more qualified than he would be to be busting out confidence intervals and linear regression and all this stuff that he doesn't understand. And honestly, I don't have a great understanding of it either. I was a business major, right? I'm not going to go in there and fool people and try and sound smarter. That's the thing. I don't give a shit about sounding smart. I care about results. And results require real life proof. It requires tangible evidence, which vegans do not have. Oh, it's Vegan Foot Soldier. Did watch most of this, but it seems you didn't understand that this is the first time I have been able to gain any muscle whatsoever. On a meat diet, I got progressively weaker. Okay. All right. Okay. We gotta talk about this. All right. So what do you think? Name the nutrient. No, I'm not going to say that. Why do you feel like you weren't able to gain any muscle mass on a meat diet? Why do you feel like you got progressively weaker on a meat diet? And by the way, I was very fair in the assessment of you. I saw your little thing where you talked about how you didn't work out for the past 3 or 4 months or whatever. So, this is a channel where we hope to get to the bottom of things. I'm not here to just slander and talk shit on you like you would probably do to me, to be honest. So why do you feel like you couldn't make gains on a meat diet when literally every person in the world makes gains on a meat diet? I really need to hear your answer for this. Rocco's vegan life. Vegan Foot Soldier, get that sugar intake up. Yeah, go ahead and rot your teeth out, Rocco. Go ahead and fuck your liver up. Go ahead and mess with your pancreas with all that insulin production. You're not going to do very good, man. You're not going to do very good long term. Let's pull this dumbass up. Let's see. 74 subs. Guys, make sure that you subscribe to Rocco.
Man, he could be an Olympic level style runner, man. He ain't even trained for running. He just came out here, got up out of bed, hit the track, and got 14 minutes official time in the 5K. This man should be signed by a college to run track.
Is that him or is this him?
Welcome to another video, y'all.
So it's him behind the camera.
Days. Hey.
How long you been vegan, dude? How long you been vegan? The content. Wow. Look at the content. Here's some advice for you, Rocco. Here's some advice for you. All right, look at that little arm right there. Little arm. The vegan diet is shit. It's not going to work for you long term. You should quit while you're ahead. There's my advice. You're not going to make any gains. You would be faster on meat. You're going to be healthier on meat. You're going to save your teeth. You're going to save yourself a lot of problems. Clearly, you got into veganism because you saw some YouTube content creators. They fooled you into it. Maybe you lost a little bit of weight, but you can lose weight on any diet. And you shouldn't be bought into the vegan diet just because you lost weight. It's not going to do anything for you long term. Bro, I weigh more than you, homie. I'm 195. Okay. What does that have to do with anything? Yeah, Larry, that's a good point. You said just because you're eating meat doesn't mean you're going to make gains. You were still eating a terrible diet with a terrible training program towards Vegan Foot Soldier. And again, Vegan Foot Soldier, you said that you didn't know how to train. You had horrible form when you stepped into the gym with Hench Herbivore. So you admitted right there that you didn't know how to train. So how are you going to go and say that you couldn't make gains before? You didn't know how to train before. So there you go. I think you just literally destroyed yourself with that comment. Malabsorption, Crohn's, like symptoms, shitting blood. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It seems like there's a lot of people who've healed Crohn's disease with veganism and with a well-planned meat diet as well. And again, Vegan Foot Soldier, you're like one of these guys that has cured a major ailment with veganism, and now you think that you owe your life to it. It just helped you as a tool to get over what you needed to do, just like this guy's Rocco's vegan life. And, you know, Rocco, how long have you been vegan? I'm guessing like a year, 2 years, something like that. You still look like you're wearing some meat gains here, to be honest with you. And I'm not even hating on you. That's a positive thing in my eyes. Sleep, water, sugar. So you're a Durian Rider fan.
You have an intrinsic desire to help people and not receive enough. Love overpowers hate.
Love overpowers hate. Okay, good. I like your message, bro.
But I see, that's all.
All you're drinking is sugar, man. It's not going to do you any good, dog. I'm telling you right now. All right, 10 months vegan. All right, man. Hey, I'm glad it's working for you right now. That's an extremely short amount of time to be vegan. You don't know what you're doing right now, man. You're spreading this message, and this is the problem I have with brand new vegans is they come through, they pull up to YouTube, veganism helped them lose 10 pounds or whatever. Now they think it's amazing, and they make videos, and now in 3 years, when you disappear from the vegan diet, all of this shit will have inspired hundreds of other people to go vegan. It's literally like a virus. Veganism is literally a virus. I've been carnivore for 7 or 8 months. But if you count the previous 28 years of my life, I guess you would have to add that in there too, wouldn't you? So this isn't my first rodeo with meat, my friend. Yeah, just like Dom says, Vegan Foot Soldier, just because you healed some health conditions on a vegan diet doesn't mean it's a suitable diet long term. Exactly. You can heal some conditions on a water fast, but you shouldn't do it long term. Great point, man. Great point. Let's see here. Vegan Foot Soldier responded. He says, plant-based diet has improved my health, but I am vegan for ethics, not for health. It's just cool that I am far more healthier on a plant-based diet. Vegan almost 10 years. Okay, so again, you didn't know how to train, and you were probably eating a shit version of the meat-based diet or an omnivore diet before you went vegan. So why don't you do something really ballsy, do a 30 or 60-day carnivore experiment, share with your audience, share with YouTube, share with the world, show what happens to a long-term vegan when they start eating the other way. I understand that you're doing it for ethics, and I know this scares the shit out of you, but here's the thing. If this indeed is healthier for you, isn't that an ethical thing to do? Isn't it ethical to be honest about the health aspect of the high animal foods diet, high nutrient density foods versus the vegan diet? You're obviously not in the best condition that you could be in. That's just being purely objective and honest here, okay? From one ectomorph to another. And you already know, I know you're already researching all the stuff. You know that the ethics high ground has been taken away from you guys with all the recent research on grass-fed beef and, you know, how many animals are killed in the wheat threshers and all this stuff like that, and the pesticides killing the birds and the birds and the bees. You know, there's really no high ground that vegans have anymore. I cannot believe you guys are even trying to stand behind the ethical argument anymore. Let's get super real here. It's very disturbing that you guys are still sticking to that. I really have an issue with that. All right, Rocco. I know how it works, man. I know how I feel. I done took all the supplements and never got the gains when I was lifting weights training with my head football coach every day for 3 hours. So you think you're making better gains as a vegan than you did on meat. Okay. I mean, I got nothing to say to that. If you think that plant protein is somehow better than meat protein for muscle gains, you are truly living in a placebo fantasy paradise. There's not even most vegans wouldn't even agree with you on that. Let's get real here, man. Jesus, that is complete nonsense. We know why meat works better. Has the carnitine, has the creatine, it has the leucine, which activates mTOR, which tells your body to go into protein synthesis in the first place. Not to mention it has a higher amount of IGF-1. It's got a higher amount of saturated fat, which is going to help boost your hormones all around. I don't know what to tell you, man. The world's strongest men are not vegan. Let's just get that out of the way. There's a couple guys who have managed to get strong and managed to get muscular on a vegan diet, but that doesn't mean it's the best way to go. Period. And usually they're on steroids. Some of them are on YouTube. Vegan Foot Soldier says, because my ethics prevent me from doing that, I am perfectly healthy, so would not consider this. Even if I could get some additional level of health, I can already do 300 kilometers in one day. Okay, but like I said, this hasn't been debunked 1,000 times, bud. How is it debunked when a grass-fed cow is one animal that can feed you for an entire year, if not more, and your grains that you eat are killing and slaughtering hundreds of mice and rodents and birds? Like, that is not deniable. It's one animal versus hundreds of animals. Vegans say that humans are speciesist, but vegans choose cow lives over squirrel lives. By the order of magnitudes, they care more about cow lives than they care about squirrel lives and fox lives and bird lives. Drew, are humans the number one consumer of grains? I think you need to watch Bobby's Perspectives channel interviewing the real life farmer, or move to a farm yourself, which you vegans have never done. I lived in Hawaii. I lived by farmers. I saw these people try and produce food. It is very, 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 very fucking difficult. And then a pig walks right up to you that weighs 200 pounds, and it's just literally asking to be speared through the heart. And you could feed your entire village for like 2 weeks on that. Let's go, man. You guys are out of your minds, not connected to reality whatsoever. Vegan Foot Soldier, my man. You think you're in good health, but you're not. You are falling apart, my friend. Drew, what's your take on heart disease? Eating meat might be better for building muscle, but do you think it could possibly be bad as you get older? This is the one thing that the vegans are still, like, they've done a good job brainwashing everybody on this, including myself. I have to rely on the fact that I know the body produces a lot of cholesterol on its own, so consuming cholesterol doesn't seem to be a dangerous thing from that perspective. So what does cause heart disease? Well, our best understanding of it right now is that inflammation is created in the body via several mechanisms, usually sugar or elevated sugar over time. Then cholesterol comes to repair the damage. So from that perspective, eat less sugar. Don't cause the inflammation in the first place. Cholesterol flows freely throughout the arteries and whatnot. Your heart's going to be perfectly fine. Also, I feel really good. When I eat just meat, I feel the best. It's only when I start introducing sugars and plant foods that I start having any issues at all. That's just keeping it 100% realistic and honest. 100% honest, guys. I'm sure Vegan Foot Soldier's digestion is good now. He's super skinny. It's really easy to have good digestion as a vegan when you're not eating enough food. He's underweight. Rocco says he lives on a farm and he has cows around him. It is disgusting in the pastures. I mean, that's a human existence, brother. It's not clean. It's not clean. It's not fair. Yes, you do have to consume animals for optimal health. I'm sorry. I really wanted to stay vegan, dude. This is from a 4.5-year vegan, ex-vegan, 4.5 years. Okay? You've been vegan for 8 months. I get where you're coming from. But it's just not the way. Vegan Foot Soldier says, you just assert bullocks without evidence or contrary to the science. Your fanboy is just hating on me for showing up. Nice echo chamber, bro. I'm out. Hope you can look at the data without bias. Dude, I promoted the same data that you promote. I've seen all that bullshit. I was vegan for 4.5 years. What are you talking about? I had the vegan bias. I was so biased, I lived in Hawaii. I made a vegan dating app I spent thousands of dollars on. I wanted to be vegan so bad. What are you talking about, man? All of my friends were vegan. I lived in a vegan house. I cooked fucking steak on the thing and people were pissed. I had 2 people move out of my house. Oh, you were trying to go against the grain, Drew. No, I wanted to stay vegan. The fuck are you talking about, man? You're so ignorant. Yeah, exactly. Salome, most vegans want to stay vegan. That's why we try stupid things like juice fasting. And that's why we try stupid things like water fasting. I do not eat liver. I wish I did. I think it tastes really bad. I might give it a go soon. But honestly, I get such a wide variety of really high quality foods. Like I eat good quality fish. I eat good quality eggs. I eat good quality milk. It is what it is, man. I just, if I was drawn to it, I would love that. But I'm not right now. Vegan Foot Soldier, you need to smash in the sugar, mate. Gregor is a joke. Rocco, the sugar is going to fuck you up, dog. Seriously. Stay away from the sugar, man. Answer me, Drew. One question. Were you Dr. Gregor vegan or were you Durin Rider vegan? I was both. The first 2 years, I was Durin Rider vegan. Raw till 4 all the way. I did blood tests at the end of those 2 years. The blood tests were fantastic. I had good cycling performance. I was losing muscle mass and weight. I couldn't keep muscle mass on even though I was going to the gym and cycling at the same time. I just assumed it was because of cycling, but really it's because I was probably eating really low amount of protein. That's what happens when you're eating a high carb, low fat diet naturally, unless you're taking protein supplements. And then towards the end of that 2 years, I stopped cycling so much because I got injured, which didn't heal, by the way. And then I got a sort of like insulin fat belly going on. And then I did a juice fast. And then after the juice fast, I went to a whole foods plant-based diet like Gregor recommends. That was the best 6 months of digestion that I had on the vegan diet. I was also underweight. It was hard to eat enough calories when you're eating 100% whole food plant-based. I couldn't put on an ounce of muscle even without doing any cardio. Okay. And then from there, I started to incorporate more fats. I shrunk my meal sizes down and I got the caloric density up. I started eating around 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day. I started putting on muscle mass and a lot of fat mass. I started feeling very tired again. My digestion was absolutely terrible. And that was pretty much the end of the vegan diet for me. So that you got a quick 4.5 year synopsis right there. Save yourself the trouble, dude. Save yourself the trouble. Yeah, I would love to get Jocko on the stream. I've offered to have him on the stream already. I hope he's down. But I don't think he would be. Hey, later, Mish. Thanks for cruising. And yeah, you got a mod. You deserve it. There's a couple other people here that are close to getting the mod handled too. Yeah, Meghan Remedy again. That's a good point. She did everything right. She's also a nutritionist. She is a vegan nutritionist trying to prove the system wrong. She was having all kinds of health issues. She's been healthy all her life. Had a great body before, worked out before, athletic before, and then she lost all that by going vegan. She even says that vegans can hardly give blood in the blood drives because they're so anemic. It's just a really common thing. Okay, we're going to take another question, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up today, guys. Thank you all for coming, by the way. Earth Guardian says, the grass-fed beef kills less argument is theoretical, so the beef couldn't be supplemented external food. That said, you can't eat any other animals to remain ethically consistent with that. It doesn't matter though. See, vegans are doing the same thing, but from a different direction. So our argument is grass-fed beef is the most ethical and the most healthy. So we're saying, let's move towards that objective, right? Let's feed the world with that objective. And there are people who have done the research and say it is possible, all right? Then the vegans are on the other end. They're saying that awesome, ethical, healthy thing is impossible. So let's move towards this weird world where we farm up, what do you call it? Suboptimal food that's kind of ethical, and let's feed people that garbage. And then let's go that way because it's easier to do. And guess what? There's a lot of money involved in that from new investors that want to get paid. So that's theoretical too. The vegan diet is theoretical, straight up. There's no populations that have gone 1, 2, 3 generations on it that are showing any type of good results. Rocco says it's not true about the anemic vegans because he gives blood. Dude, you've been vegan for 8 months. Shut up. You're a baby. I can't wait for you to come back in like a year and be like, damn, Drew, you're right. I've already had people do that with me. They're like, dude, 3 months ago I was hating on you so much, and then they like DM me on Instagram. You and Bobby helped open my eyes. Thank you so much. And I'm just like, hey, thank you. Thank you for saying that. But I'm not here to be like, told you so. This isn't about me, man. I don't care about that. I really don't. Do I want to grow my channel? Fuck yeah, I want to grow my channel. I want to help a bunch of people. Try a liver smoothie. Yeah, I'm sure that would be amazing for health benefits. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Let's go full screen mode here. We gave Rocco enough time. We gave vegan foot soldier some shout outs. Anyway, so thank you all for showing up. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat with Megan today. Let me know on Instagram at Drew Morgan if you guys want to consult with me one-on-one. I offer 30 and 60-minute consultations. I've helped a bunch of people transition from veganism to the meat side of things. If you still got some long-standing health issues, I have a good handle on digestion. And again, stay tuned for the videos. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm doing a little review on these Candida support pills, and I'm trying to get the last little things ironed out in my digestive system regarding white tongue and Candida. And I'm going to, so Salome, he's out. He's just going to be a fan now. He's just going to have to be a fan and watch the channel. But I'm going to go for an hour-long walk right now. It's 12:30, and we'll eat lunch after that. So fasted, losing hella fat, not weight. And anyways, again, thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you next time.